Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Wuhun, awakening double martial spirit, but the system ran away. Chapter 81. Before it was time to eat, the six of them were drinking tea and chatting. Lin Yu stood up and looked at Lin Moxu standing aside. Lin Moxu, can I take a stroll here? Lin Moxu nodded. It's okay. Please do it. Lin Yu then got up and walked around the courtyard of the guild hall. He was very interested in this kind of garden architecture. His life space was at best a small farm. The club was very big. Lin Yu was walking and came to the backyard, where he saw a beautiful woman in white cheongsam standing on the bridge. He had traveled so long, and this was one of the most beautiful women he had ever seen. Just as good as Lu Ning's mother. He compared the two in his mind. In terms of figure, Lu Yani was slightly better. Their looks were similar, but the extravagant temperament of the woman in front of him was much better than Lu Yani. The elegant woman said, "After watching it for so long, what can you see?" Lin Yu thought for a while and said, "You are watching the scenery on the bridge, and I, a person who appreciates the scenery, am watching you from the side. The beauty of the lady has overshadowed the scenery in the garden." Any woman is willing to hear others praise her, and the cheongsam woman was not surprised. She glanced at Lin Yu, and then said calmly, "You call me madam, do you know me?" Lin Yu shook his head. "I don't know madam. I see that there are some similarities between madam's eyebrows and classmate Lin Moxu. Madam should be the elder of classmate Lin Moxu." The cheongsam woman smiled, giving people the feeling of a spring breeze. "My name is Hua Kaiwei. Lin Moxu's mother, you must be Lin Yu." Lin Yu nodded. "We care about each other but have no acquaintance, and we love Kaiwei for a long time." "What a good name." Hua Kaiwei smiled slightly and said nothing, but Lin Yu continued, "Hello, Aunt Hua. I would like to do a business with Aunt Hua when I see her." Hua Kaiwei was amused. "What? Lin Yu still wants to sell fruits and vegetables to us. No matter how many fruits and vegetables you have, they can't equal the federal license plate you donated." Lin Yu nodded, then smiled and said, "Aunt Hua, can you lend me a moment to speak?" Hua Kaiwei also wanted to see what kind of medicine the big boy was selling in the gourd, and then made a gesture of invitation. "Please." Lin Yu followed Hua Kaiwei to a small and exquisite tea room. There was a low tea table in the middle. Lin Yu took off his shoes and walked in. He sat cross-legged on the futon in front of the tea table, while Hua Kaiwei was opposite him. He knelt down on the futon, picked up the tea set and made Lin Yu a cup of tea. "Please." Facing Hua Kaiwei's invitation, Lin Yu picked up the teacup and drank it all in one gulp. After putting down the teacup, Hua Kaiwei gave him another cup. Lin Yu didn't drink any more, but looked at Hua Kaiwei opposite. 3 months ago, when my martial spirit had just awakened, I was very poor at that time, and classmate Lin Moxu bought my vegetables by chance, and 2 fruits later, helping me survive the last few months. During those difficult days, even though the money and goods were fair trade, this little money was just a drop in the bucket in front of your Lin family, but for me, it was a timely help." This is not Lin Yu's nonsense. He really had no money at that time. He used the money from selling fruits to Lin Moxu to buy the equipment for his adventures out of the city. Hua Kaiwei said with a smile, "It's serious for classmate Lin Yu to say this. I'm curious, what kind of business do you want to discuss with me?" Lin Yu took out a small pot of flowers from the ring of life and placed the flower pot on the tea table. The hot water that Hua Kaiwei had just boiled instantly froze, and the ice filled the entire tea table and the entire tea room. "The temperature has dropped." Hua Kaiwei looked at the blue grass in the small flower pot on the tea table and was shocked. But the herb itself could emit such a cold air, so it must be fairy grass. Hua Kaiwei calmed down her excitement and said sternly, "Soul bones are valuable, but fairy grass is priceless." "Lin Yu, if you don't mind if I call Mo Shui's father." Lin Yu said with a smile, "Don't bother Mr. Lin with this little thing. I think I have a good rapport with Aunt Hua, so Aunt Hua can just make a price. If I pay you $1, will you sell it to me too?" Hua Kaiwei even found it funny after she said it. "Of course, who told me to fall in love with Aunt Hua? That's how I am. I look at everything with my eyes. Just like this ice thorn plant, it is obviously only suitable for Lin Moxu, so I can only sell it to you, the Lin family. If I give it to you, the Lin family, it will appear that I have a bad idea for Lin Moxu, or that I covet the glory and wealth of your Lin family. If it is for Aunt Hua's own use, I will give it to Aunt Hua directly, without talking about money. Talking about money hurts feelings. Haha, you mean you don't have any bad thoughts about Mo Shui? Could it be that you have bad thoughts about me, my sister? There was a hint of charm in Hua Kaiwei's smile, and since she called herself her sister, Lin Yu climbed up the ladder. Sister Kaiwei, you are the most beautiful woman in the country. Any normal man will have strange thoughts when he sees you. If not, it would be abnormal. The first time I saw my sister, I thought that I have seen women and sisters since I was a child. Comparing one by one, among all the women I have met so far, there is only one who can compare with my sister. Hua Kaiwei also felt that this big boy was really shameless. He dared to say anything. Of course, they were all compliments, but they were not annoying at all. She asked out of curiosity, "Oh, I'm really curious. Do you agree? Who is this person who is similar to me?" "Well, I think the person who can compare with my sister right now is classmate Lu Ning's mother." Hua Kaiwei was not surprised when she heard Lin Yu say this, and then said, "Okay. It's still Lu Yani after all." In fact, back then, Lu Yani, I, and Lu Ning's father, Lu Xiaokong, were all students of the same school and the same batch at Magic University. When I was in college, when some good friends ranked Lu Yani as the school beauty, Lu Yani was ranked first, but I was only second, and this ranking lasted 4 years. Do you know why? Lin Yu didn't expect that they were all classmates, which was quite surprising. As for why Lu Yani was able to overwhelm Hua Kaiwei, she could think of it with her heels. Lin Yu smiled slightly and said, "I guess the people who ranked the school beauty at that time admired her figure." Hua Kaiwei nodded, then asked with a smile, "So who do you think is better among us?" Lin Yu thought for a while and said, "It is undeniable that although Aunt Lu is indeed better than her sister in terms of figure, her fairy-like temperament is something she has never had. In my opinion, if Aunt Lu is if you were a goddess on earth, my sister is a fairy in heaven." Hua Kaiwei covered her mouth again and laughed. "Ha ha, Lin Yu, you are so funny. Okay, even if you can talk, you didn't deliberately belittle her, and you didn't deliberately flatter me." Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door of the tea room, and Hua Kaiwei returned to her cold look again. "Come in." The door was pushed open from the outside, and it was Lin Moxu standing outside. Lin Moxu found Lin Yu sitting in this room, looking at Hua Kaiwei like this. "Mom, several other students didn't see Lin Yu, so they asked me to come over and have a look." Lin Yu saw that Lin Moxu had come to find him, so he stood up, bowed his hands to Hua Kaiwei, then walked out of the tea room, put on his shoes, and followed Lin Moxu away. Hua Kaiwei looked at Lin Yu's leaving back, then glanced at the ice thorn grass on the tea table, then took out her mobile phone and dialed a number. The phone rang a few times before it was answered, and Lin Yadong's voice rang out on the mobile phone. "Madam, what do you want?" "I'm busy here." Hua Kaiwei listened to the voice of another woman talking on Lin Yadong's phone. She hesitated for a moment and then said, "It's nothing, it's just that my daughter came to the club with a few classmates to play. As long as she is not a shady classmate, let her be. After all, she is going to college, and we can't always take care of her and give her some free space." "That's okay. Just go about your business." Hua Kaiwei hung up the phone immediately after saying that. The Lin family is the top wealthy family in Jinling. What is a wealthy family? They have money, power, property, and many heirs. After all, they really have a throne to inherit. As Lin Yadong's first wife, Hua Kaiwei only has one daughter, Lin Moxu. As a girl, Lin Moxu obviously cannot inherit the Lin family business. Lin Yadong does not want the family business to fall by the wayside, so he must have a son to inherit the family business, and this son must be awakened. Ice Phoenix Spirit. What should I do if my first wife only raises one daughter and no longer wants to raise her? Let's have another woman. As the head of a top wealthy family in Oris Hill, how can he only have one woman? No matter how capable Hua Kaiwei is, she can't change this. The life of a wealthy family is inherently chaotic, so she and Lin Moxu moved out of the Lin family's ancestral home and lived in the wealthy area where Lin Yu bought fruit. Lin Yadong would also go there to accompany her on weekends. Accompany Lin Moxu. Lin Yu returned to the previous tea room. Several people were here. Lin Xiaotao asked curiously. Lin Yu, where did you go before? We didn't even find you just now. Lin Yu smiled and said, I just met classmate Lin Moxu's mother. I chatted with her for a while. Then several people started talking and laughing again, and Lin Yu found that Lin Moxu also had other expressions on her face. According to Tang Yanran, as long as Lin Moxu practiced their family's martial arts to the point where she could enter the room, the expressions on her face would change. Normally, it seems that Lin Moxu should not be far away from entering the palace. Soon after, a group of young ladies came over to deliver meals. A cutlery was placed in front of each person, and then a piece of food was placed in front of them. Yang Dabao looked at the food that was not enough to stuff his teeth, and looked at Lin Yu standing aside. Brother, is this a serious meal? Lin Yu knew what he was talking about, so he said with a smile, this is very serious. Eat this and you will know later. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he picked up the food on the plate and ate it in one bite. It tasted really delicious. When everyone finished the food on the plate, the ladies also removed the empty plates in front of them, and then the second dish of food was served. More and less food was served. After 5 dishes, Lin Yu put down his chopsticks. He was indeed full. At this time, a young lady whispered something in his ear, and Lin Yu stood up and said, Fat man, you continue to eat, I have something to do. Everyone nodded, and Lin Yu left immediately and followed the young lady to a small restaurant. Hua Kaiwei was sitting here eating. Lin Yu took a look at the food she was eating. It was very simple, just simple vegetarian dishes, but the way he eats is also pleasing to the eye. My sister's food is quite light. Hua Kaiwei said with a smile, eating and drinking really don't matter to me. I prefer vegetarian food to meat dishes. Lin Yu thought for a while and took out a fruit plate from the space and placed it in front of Hua Kaiwei. I grew this later, and it should taste better than the one I sold to classmate Lin Moxu before. Hua Kaiwei looked at the fruits in the fruit plate and was not polite. She immediately put down her chopsticks, picked up the fork on the side, and tasted a piece of green fruit. It tasted really good. Hua Kaiwei glanced at Lin Yu opposite. It tastes really good. I like it very much. As long as you like it. There are still some here, sister can eat it slowly later. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he waved his hand and several boxes of fruit appeared in the restaurant. Hua Kaiwei put them away without any politeness. Once upon a time, Mo Shui's father said that choosing a birth-promoting plant for your first soul ring was a complete waste of your innate talent with full soul power. Now it seems that we have not reached your height. I am thinking about that fairy grass in the morning. It must have been created by your soul power. And the fairy grass that girl Lu Ning took must have been provided by you too. Lin Yu did not hide anything. He nodded directly and said, Sister, you are really smart. The fairy grass that Lu Ning took was something I had from the beginning, and I exchanged that fairy grass for Mr. Lu himself, those farmed flowers and plants. Hua Kaiwei put down her chopsticks and hooked her fingers outward. Then a young lady came in and removed the tableware on the table, then put a tea set on it. Hua Kaiwei picked up the teapot and poured Lin Yu a cup of tea. Mr. Lu, you are a ghost. It's a pity that he never knows that you have the ability to induce the birth of fairy grass. If you tell me this, aren't you afraid that I will tell it? Lin Yu smiled and asked. On the day of the internal recruitment meeting, I told the teacher of the Holy Sea Academy that I used soul bones to reach the 3rd level. Sister, tell me, after I leave the city again, will anyone intercept and kill me outside the city? When Hua Kaiwei thought about it, it was true that these adventurers could do anything for profit, but Lin Yu was sitting in front of her alive and kicking, which meant that he was either powerful or there was someone behind him. Oh, then Lin Yu, can you tell sister, what do you rely on? Strength. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he raised 3 soul rings, and then continued, my second soul ring ability is hypnosis. In fact, in the 1st and 3rd training at school, I tampered with the memory of classmate Lin Moxu. In fact, today by inviting classmate Lin Moxu to a gathering, I intend to return that part of her memory to her. Hua Kaiwei frowned when she heard this, and then continued to ask, you tampered with Shui's memory. Did you encounter something during the training? Lin Yu nodded. The first time was actually in an abandoned town mine, where I met a group of death knights, led by about 50,000 years ago. I didn't want this matter to be told by Lin Moxu, so I tampered with her. She only remembered meeting a 5,000-year-old Death Knight at the bottom of the mine. Hua Kaiwei nodded. If a few first-level students met a group of Death Knights, and the leader was 50,000 years old, and could be eliminated by them, even a fool would know there was something wrong. It seems that you should have wiped out those Death Knights before you tampered with Shui's memory. What about the second time? Lin Yu didn't say anything. He took out a red soul ring, shook it at Hua Kaiwei, and then put it away. Hua Kaiwei was shocked when she saw the soul ring in Lin Yu's hand, with an incredible look on her face, and then asked, "Can a 10th level monster appear in a place like Crow Ridge?" Lin Yu nodded. Yes. A very powerful 10th level drought demon is currently stronger than all the opponents I have met. The reason why it has not been discovered is because no strong person goes to a place like Crow Ridge. There is no strong person appeared. This drought demon has been sleeping. I tampered with Lin Moxu's memory this time just because I was afraid of trouble. Although I am not afraid of anyone, I don't like trouble. Everyone knows that I am so powerful. When I go out of the city, who else dares to rob me? No one will rob me. Me, how do I get rich? Hua Kaiwei saw Lin Yu's mean look at the last word and said angrily, "You mean you made your fortune solely by robbing those who wanted to rob you?" That's not the case. After all, a 10th level soul bone these days is worth 100 billion. As long as I reveal that I have a 10th level soul bone in my body, those soul saints will definitely come to snatch it when they see that I am just a 3rd level piece of trash. I will. If they kill it, they will have nothing to worry about for the rest of their lives. Hua Kaiwei knew what Lin Yu meant. I am now so powerful that I can kill several 9th level soul saints. I can tell you this because I am not afraid of saying it myself. She couldn't help but vomit in her heart. This is who are you? Immortal grass soul bones are not even rare. Hua Kaiwei then straightened her expression and said, "Okay. Let's get down to business. How much of the fairy grass do you want this morning? I'll see if I can turn it around for you." Lin Yu also became serious at this time and said, "If the head of the Lin family talks to me, I won't sell it for less than 100 billion, but he wants me to fall in love with my sister. Just give me $1. Hua Kaiwei also laughed, and then took out a steel bullhorn from her storage ring and placed it in front of Lin Yu. Lin Yu picked up the steel bullock, broke it in half, and gave one half back to Hua Kaiwei. Kaiwei blushed when she saw half a steel hairpin. Lin Yu put away half of the steel bullion and stood up. "Okay, Sister Kaiwei, I should go find my classmates. Please also remember that I sold the ice thorn grass to my sister. It's not for classmate Lin Moxu." Hua Kaiwei nodded to express her understanding, and Lin Yu left the small restaurant and returned to the others. They also had lunch and drank tea here. After staying for a while, Lin Yu was about to pay the bill, but Lin Moxu said that she wanted to pay for this meal. Lin Yu did not insist, and the others said goodbye to Lin Moxu. Lin Yu snapped his fingers at Lin Moxu and Lu Ning before leaving, then greeted them and left. Lin Moxu watched them leave, wiped away the extra memories in her mind, and then came to Hua Kaiwei's office. At this time, Hua Kaiwei was staring at a blue plant in the corner in a daze. Lin Moxu sat opposite Hua Kaiwei. "Mom, I found that I was hypnotized by Lin Yu before." "Well, Lin Yu and I also said that this matter is over now, and there is no need to talk about it with your father." Lin Moxu nodded, then pointed to the blue plant in the corner. "Oh. Got it. What's going on with that herb? Lin Yu sold it to us." On the other side, Lin Yu sent Yang Dabao and Shu Dewei home first. Just when he was about to send Lu Ning off, Lu Ning asked, "Lin Yu, can you send the monitor off first? I want to tell you something." Lin Yu knew what Lu Ning wanted to say, and nodded immediately. "That's okay. Taozi, I'll take you home first." Lin Xiaotao nodded. "Yeah. That's okay too." Lin Xiaotao was very well behaved. Before she went to Crow Ridge for training and at the internal recruitment meeting, Lu Ning sat next to Lin Yu. Lin Xiaotao never mentioned this matter. After sending Lin Xiaotao back to her house downstairs, Lin Yu made a gesture to make a phone call. Lin Xiaotao nodded and went upstairs. Lin Yu turned the car around and headed towards Lu Ning's house. Lu Ning rolled directly from the back onto the passenger seat and then looked at Lin Yu, who was standing aside. "Lin Yu, don't you have anything to say?" Lin Yu smiled and said, "My second soul ring is hypnosis. When I was in Crow Ridge, I didn't want others to know about the 10th level soul beast. Lu Ning continued to ask, does it mean that Lin Xiaotao and Teacher Tang have known about your ability for a long time? So when you released the hypnosis, they both turned away. Lin Yu nodded. That's right. Not long after, Lin Yu parked the car in front of Lu Ning's house. Lu Ning looked at Lin Yu. Go down and sit for a while. My mother is the only one at home at this time. That's fine. After the two got out of the car, Lin Yu put away the car and walked into their yard with Lu Ning. When he walked into the living room, Lin Yu saw Lu Yani lying lazily on the sofa. Lu Yani opened her eyes when she felt someone coming in, and found that it was her daughter and Lin Yu. She then sat up and waved to Lin Yu. Lin Yu is here, come and sit. Lin Yu walked to the sofa and sat down, then asked with a smile, Aunt Lu, why don't you go upstairs and take a nap? It's okay, I'm not too sleepy. I guess Ning Ning will be back soon, so I'll wait downstairs for a while. At this time, Lu Ning went upstairs. Lin Yu guessed that she had gone to change into home clothes. He also liked to wear home clothes at home. Lin Yu took out a box from the space and put it on the coffee table, and then said to Lu Yani beside him, last time I went to the Magic City, I fell in love with a set of jade jewelry. I thought it was suitable for Aunt Lu, so I bought it. I don't know if you like it. Lu Yani opened the box and took a look at it, and she was immediately happy. Lin Yu, you are interested. I like it very much. Lu Yani was also a happy person. She took off all the diamond jewelry on her body, took out a mirror, and put on the jade jewelry that Lin Yu bought for her. After wearing it, Lu Yani was very satisfied. This little man really knows how to appreciate it. Lin Yu, what do you think? Lin Yu took a look and saw that Lu Yani's appearance had indeed improved to a new level. It was not that the set of diamond jewelry she wore before was not beautiful, but that jadeite suited her better than diamonds at this age. Lin Yu nodded and smiled. Beautiful. The main reason is that Aunt Lu is a queen herself. She is very beautiful no matter what she wears. I heard Lin Moxu's mother say today that Aunt Lu has been the top beauty in the 4 years of university. Lin Yu's words surprised Lu Yani. That's not true. Hua Kaiwei told you all about this. It seems that you two had a very happy conversation. So Aunt Lu, how was your relationship with her in college? Lu Yani thought for a while and said, how should I put it? The relationship is not too bad, nor is it very good, I can only say that it is average, but she is a stronger person, and she has the best demands. Maybe it is her strength and her confidence makes many boys shy away from her, but she didn't ask you to compare her with me today. Lin Yu said with a smile. It really is, then do you know what I said? Lu Yani curled her lips and said with a smile, with your shamelessness, you must have given an ambiguous answer. Ha, Aunt Lu, you were right. I said you are a goddess on earth and she is a fairy in heaven. When Lu Yani heard Lin Yu's answer, she burst out laughing. Ha ha, Lin Yu, you are so funny. I won't criticize or praise this answer. Hua Kaiwei will definitely like it. Dong, dong, dong. Lu Ning's voice came downstairs, and Lu Yani returned to her normal appearance. Lin Yu looked over and saw that Lu Ning had indeed changed into home clothes. After Lu Ning came downstairs, he came over and sat down next to Lin Yu. At this time, Lin Yu said to Lu Yani on the side, Aunt Lu, I told Lu Ning today that I will go to the capital on the 20th. After the affairs of the college over there are settled, I will let you and Lu Ning go to the capital for a while. Time. Lu Yani nodded. Ning Ning still has some time left to go to school. It's true that she can go out to relax. So it's okay for Ning Ning to go, but it's not appropriate for me to go. Aunt Lu, what I mean is that Lu Ning, a little girl, went to the capital alone, and we don't want to worry about her being alone. Aunt Lu, please accompany her, so that the two of you can have company. Then you are willing to stay in a hotel, just stay in a hotel. If you don't want to stay in a hotel, I also asked people to buy a few houses near Jingcheng College in advance. You can also live in my newly bought house. Lu Yani nodded and looked at Lu Ning aside. Ning Ning, what do you think? Lu Ning nodded. That's okay. After Lu Ning finished speaking, he stretched out his right hand to Lin Yu, and then said with a smile, you brought a gift for my mother, I won't be without it. First of all, let me declare that I don't want an jade necklace, this kind of meaningless jewelry. Useless in battle. Lin Yu was a little unprepared for Lu Ning's request for a gift. The jade necklace was really not suitable for girls who were too young. But what I have most are soul rings and soul bones, so I can't use this thing as a gift. Luminous grass. It's too cheap. Lin Yu thought for a while and took out a box and handed it to Lu Ning. After Lu Ning took it with hope, he opened it and took a look. It turned out that there were pearls inside. She was a little disappointed. Moreover, she saw Tang Yanren wearing this set of pearl necklaces every day. Wear it around your neck. Lu Ning thought for a while and then asked, I think Teacher Tang wears this set of necklaces and earrings around his neck every day. Lin Yu nodded. Yes. I specially made this in the jewelry store. There are 3 necklaces, 1 bracelet, and 2 pairs of earrings. I gave the bracelet to Lin Xiaotao. 1 necklace is with my sister, 1 necklace and 1 pair of earrings. The pair of earrings are at Teacher Tang's place. As for this set, it originally belonged to my aunt. Recently, she changed it into jade jewelry. She returned this set of pearl jewelry to me, saying that it can be used by my girlfriend. Lu Ning was even more unhappy when she heard that this necklace had been worn by someone else. She felt that Lin Yu didn't care about her at all. Lu Yani on the side felt that Lin Yu could not be so stingy as to use jewelry worn by others for her daughter. The only possibility was that this necklace should have other functions. Just when Lu Yani was about to speak, Lin Yu took out another ring and said with a smile, if you don't like necklaces, do you want this storage ring? This ring was obtained in the wild that day. When Lu Ning saw the ring, he immediately took it and showed a smile, thank you. Lin Yu, I like this gift. Lu Yani on the side shook her head. She, a silly daughter, probably lost the watermelon and picked up the sesame seeds. At this time, Lin Yu also put away the set of deep-sea soul bead necklaces. Lu Yani saw Lu Ning playing with the ring, and then glanced at Lin Yu curiously. Lin Yu knew what she wanted to ask, and then said 4 words, deep-sea soul pearl. Lu Yani took a deep breath in her heart. She really wanted to beat up that stupid girl. How stupid this was. She didn't want the deep-sea soul bead that could increase the speed of cultivation, but instead wanted a storage item that could be bought with money. Ring. His grandfather also said he bought Lu Ning a ring before school started. Now he can save money on the ring. The treasure has also flown away. Lu Yani knew that it was not Lin Yu's reluctance to blame. Her silly daughter was just like her grandfather. She looked like a monkey on the surface, but in fact she was ignorant. The last time she entered the life space, she asked out of curiosity, where is this? Lin Yu did not hide anything and told her directly, this is the ring that your father-in-law and I exchanged for soul bones. And he also took a look and found that the flowers and plants in the space that originally belonged to him had been cultivated by Lin Yu to the level of fairy grass. The rubbish from her own house was like a sacred object to Lin Yu. In fact, it was not to blame that the Lu family did not know the goods. This was mainly Lin Yu's ability. But what made her angry was that her stupid daughter actually thought that Lin Yu would take advantage of others. Give her unwanted things, and Lin Yu even said that his aunt asked him to give it to his girlfriend, but this idiot actually disliked it, and her brain grew to her chest. When Lin Yu saw Lu Yani's expression, he knew that she was struggling in her heart, and said with a smile, actually, it's not just Lu Ning, my sister also thinks that the pearl necklace is too old-fashioned and not suitable for her age. Lu Ning also nodded and said, that's right. That's right. Wearing pearls is okay for Teacher Tang's age, but we are too old-fashioned. Lu Yani knew that this silly daughter was hopeless. She knew that if she spoke to Lin Yu would most likely give it to her. But with Lu Ning's attitude, she gave up on this idea. Lin Yu stayed at Lu Ning's house until about 4 o'clock, then left on a motorcycle. Lu Ning came and sat next to Lu Yani, took her arm, and handed Lu Yani the ring on the middle finger of her left hand to see. Mom, look, this ring suits me very well. Lu Yani sighed and said, Ning Ning. Do you know why you can't compare to Lin Xiaotao's position in Lin Yu's heart? Why? Lu Ning was also curious. She was better than Lin Xiaotao in both appearance and figure, but in this aspect, she didn't know where she lost to Lin Xiaotao. Lu Yani shook her head and then said, although I have never met Lin Xiaotao, I am sure of one thing. Lin Xiaotao is more obedient than you. She will do whatever Lin Yu says. Just like if it was Lin Xiaotao just now, she would definitely do it without hesitation. He put the pearl necklace around his neck and asked Lin Yu if it looked good. When Lu Ning heard Lu Yani say this, she pouted again, but that necklace doesn't suit me very well, and it was also worn by his aunt. Lu Yani was so angry that she stabbed Lu Ning's forehead with her finger. How did I give birth to a fool like you? Lin Yu just said it. His aunt asked him to give the necklace to his girlfriend. You fool, you accepted this set of accessories. It means that you are already his girlfriend, but you rejected him. Besides, Lin Yu is a person who doesn't care about immortal grass, soul or bone. Do you think the necklace he wore for his aunt will be an ordinary necklace for you? Lu Ning slapped away Lu Yani's hand that poked his forehead, and then said in surprise, Mom, what do you mean? That necklace is not an ordinary necklace, or is it a treasure? Don't forget what he just said. That necklace is his. There are 3 pieces in total, and there is 1 bracelet. The one in the jewelry store cannot be a treasure. Quote, don't call me mom. I don't have a daughter like you. I'm so angry. I went up to sleep. Lu Yani slapped away Lu Ning's hand holding her, picked up the diamond jewelry on the coffee table, and then went upstairs. At this time, Lu Ning's phone rang. She took a look and it was Lin Moxu, and then she answered the call. Telephone. On the other side, Lin Yu also rode his motorcycle back home. When he returned to the room, he saw Chen Jing lying on the massage chair playing with her mobile phone. When she saw Lin Yu coming back, Chen Jing also smiled. Soon after, the two returned to the life space. Chen Jing went to pick up eggs. Lin Yu released the growth of all things to the flowers and plants. At first, he listened to Chen Jing and it was right to separate the immortal grasses of various attributes. Different immortals with attributes will release their respective attribute elements after reaching a certain age. For example, a large area of ice condenses around the ice thorn grass and snow lily, while waves of heat are emitted around the phoenix heart curling flower. Hey, Xiao Yu, why is there a blue herb missing here? Did you give it away? Lin Yu nodded. It's considered sold. In the next few days, Lin Yu stayed at home. On the weekend, he went to stay with Tang Yanren for 2 more days. On Monday, as soon as he left school, he heard his cell phone ringing. When he saw an unfamiliar number, he thought about it and picked it up. Hey, who is that? Hello, sir, we are from a lumber company. The wooden house you customized has been finished. You can pick it up when you have time. When Lin Yu heard that the wooden house was finally ready, he immediately replied, I'll go there now. Lin Yu couldn't wait to go to the original timber company. When he arrived at the large yard of the timber company, he saw the house he had customized. The lady who bought the original house took him to take a look around. Lin Yu was very satisfied and then paid the remaining one. With a final payment of 100 million, all the houses and pavilions and wooden bridges will be included in the system space. After Lin Yu returned home, he couldn't wait to carry Chen Jing into the living space. Then he took out the house he customized and installed it at the northernmost end of the space. Because of the large amount of soil accumulated here, the location is indeed the highest in the sky. Chen Jing was also very happy when she saw the house. Xiao Yu's house is already ready. Yes, it's been a month, so it should be almost done. The two walked around the house. There were 3 bedrooms upstairs plus an open-air balcony. There was also a kitchen, living room, and dining room downstairs. Each room had its own bathroom. The bathroom was complete. Except for the lack of bedding, it was okay. A true turnkey move-in. Lin Yu looked at Chen Jing who was standing aside, thought for a while and said, Auntie, please spread some quilts on the beds. I'll find a way to connect the water and electricity. Chen Jing nodded. Okay. When building the house, the water and electricity ports have already been reserved. All he has to do is connect these ports. At noon, the water and electricity in the small building were all connected, and the two of them went out to have lunch. In the afternoon, Chen Jing was lying on the deck chair on the balcony on the 2nd floor, watching Lin Yu below. He built a small yard in front of the house with the remaining wooden fence from last time, and then installed a pavilion and wooden bridge on the island in the middle of the pond. Superior. Move all the fairy grass with no properties on the island to the left and right sides of the small yard. The perimeter of the yard is full of luminous grass. Then after thinking about it, I dug a hole as high as a person around the house and took 5 ghost mushrooms from the box. Come out and plant again in the hole. After finishing all this, Lin Yu went back to the house to wash his hands and then went to the balcony on the second floor. After picking up Chen Jing, he sat on the recliner and let her lie in his arms. Okay, Xiao Yu, we should go out, Wenwen will be back later. Lin Yu glanced at the time and saw that it was already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The two went back outside. Chen Jing went to prepare dinner. After a while, Chen Wenwen, who had spent the day playing with her classmates, came back. Chen Wenwen came and sat down in front of Lin Yu. Brother, on which day are we going to the capital? Lin Yu glanced at Chen Wenwen. If there are no other changes, it will be the 20th. That is this Saturday. That's okay too. After dinner, the three of them went for a walk to eat, then went home to wash up and rest. After practicing for 2 weeks, Lin Yu and Chen Jing went to the space to stay for one night. The space was very quiet at night, and the air was fresher than outside. That night, the two of them slept extremely soundly. When Chen Jing opened her eyes and glanced at the clock on the wall, it was already 8 o'clock. She had not slept until this point for a long time. She looked aside and Lin Yu was no longer around. She got up, went to the window and opened the curtains, and saw Lin Yu meditating in the pavilion in the middle of the pond. She went to the bathroom and started washing. For the next 3 days, Lin Yu stayed at home. On the afternoon of the 18th, Lin Yu came to Tang Yanren's residence at the school. Tang Yanren was lying on the massage chair and playing with her mobile phone to kill time. It seemed that the school work had been completely handed over. Lin Yu soaked her clothes, took a stool and sat across from her. Let's go out to eat tonight. I went to Lin Moxu's clubhouse a few days ago, and the food was pretty good. Tang Yanren smiled and said, do you want to see Lin Moxu? Lin Yu said angrily, what are you thinking about? Lin Moxu's home is thousands of miles away from the club she runs. Besides, I said I didn't call Lin Moxu. Didn't you know that? That's okay. I've been in Jinling for 3 years and I'm going to try the high-end restaurants in Jinling. I heard that these places require reservations in advance. Lin Yu said with a smile, it doesn't matter. If her waiter really wants to stop me and prevent us from entering, I will take you to another place. Tang Yanren nodded. Then I'll go change my clothes. After Tang Yanren changed her clothes, the two left the school, and Lin Yu drove to Lin Moxu's clubhouse. Tang Yanren, the co-pilot, looked at the scenery outside and couldn't help complaining, let's have a meal and run far enough. Lin Yu said with a smile, we have nothing to do anyway, we are almost there. Half an hour later, the car stopped at the entrance of the club. After the two got out of the car, a young lady came over. Welcome Mr. Lin, please come inside. Lin Yu was surprised and asked curiously, do you know me? The young lady smiled and said, everyone in our club knows Mr. Lin. The young lady brought Lin Yu and Tang Yanren to an exquisite private room. After they sat down, the young lady brought over a menu and placed it in front of Lin Yu. What would Mr. Lin want to eat tonight? You just have to arrange food for 2 people. Okay, please wait. After the young lady left, Tang Yanren looked at Lin Yu opposite him curiously, and then said with a smile, it seems that their family values you very much. By the way, what did you give Lin Moxu? It is worthy of them to value you so much. Soul bones are still immortals. Grass. Lin Yu nodded. As expected of my eldest wife, you really understand me. I did sell them a herb. Tang Yanren said angrily. It's not that I know you, it's that the things you own the most are soul bones and fairy grass. At this moment, the young lady just walked in and started making tea for Lin Yu and Tang Yanren. After a dazzling operation, they poured tea for them respectively. The young lady looked at Lin Yu and said with a smile, Mr. Lin, our President Hua asked me to ask you if you have time tomorrow. If you have time, she would like to invite you to have lunch at noon tomorrow. Lin Yu thought for a while and nodded, I have time at noon tomorrow. Isn't Mr. Hua here now? The young lady shook her head. Mr. Hua is only here during the day from Monday to Friday, and she will go home on time at 4 in the afternoon. Lin Yu nodded. Okay. I understand. At this time, the tea-making lady left, and after a while, the serving girls came over and began to serve them one dish after another, and the two of them started to eat. Half an hour later, Lin Yu and Tang Yanren put down their chopsticks. Lin Yu looked at the young lady on the side. Miss, please pay the bill. The young lady smiled and said, Mr. Lin, Mr. Hua said she invited us to have this meal. Lin Yu responded with a smile. Mr. Hua, you're welcome. Okay, Yanran, let's go back. After speaking, Lin Yu took Tang Yanran's arm and left the club directly, driving to school. Lin Yu glanced at Tang Yanran, who was in the passenger seat. Yanran, how do you feel about the food tonight? Tang Yanran thought for a while and said, there is a saying that the taste is really good, but they pay too much attention to the form. Eating itself is a common thing, and they complicate a simple thing. If they put the dishes on the table at once, I feel better. Haha, you are thinking the same thing as me. I also think it's a bit too complicated. It's okay to eat it occasionally, but you will definitely get tired of it if you eat it often. It's better to eat it as a daily meal at home. After returning to school, Lin Yu asked Tang Yanran to take a shower first, and practiced for 2 weeks. Then he took a shower, washed their clothes, and went to bed with Tang Yanran in his arms to sleep. In the evening, the two looked at each other and didn't have much to say. They kissed each other and their lips parted for a long time. Lin Yu, I want to sleep. Tang Yanran said that she kissed Lin Yu again and then fell asleep with Lin Yu's arm on her head. There was nothing to say all night. The next morning, Tang Yanran looked at the time on her phone. It was already 8 o'clock. She sat down. Lin Yu was not in the house, but she could hear the sound of raindrops outside. I went to the window and opened the curtains. I was sure it was raining outside. I went to the bathroom to clean up my personal hygiene. Lin Yu walked in from the outside room. Yanran, breakfast is ready. Should we have breakfast now or take a nap on a rainy day? Tang Yanran, who was sitting on the toilet, waved her hand and signaled Lin Yu to go out. Okay. I've slept all night, I won't sleep anymore. Wait for me to wash up. Lin Yu came to the office outside, took out 2 bowls of vegetable and egg noodles, and then added a piece of meat steak to each bowl of noodles. This was what he made in the space in the morning. Although there is no natural gas in the space, there is still an induction cooker. Tang Yanran walked out after washing up, sat across from Lin Yu, took a bowl of noodles, and started eating directly. Tang Yanran took a bite of noodles and looked at Lin Yu opposite. Although the food last night was exquisite, I still think today's noodles are delicious. Ha, this is the love breakfast I carefully prepared for you. Every noodle is wrapped with my deep love for you. Come on. This kind of earthy love talk is suitable for you to tell Lin Xiaotao and the others. After breakfast, Lin Yu stayed here for a while. He felt that the rain had eased a little, so he drove away from No. 1 middle school and arrived at the Adventurer Association. He put away the car and walked into the Adventurer Hall. Soon he changed into the greedy beast. Leather clothing comes to the Soul Ring store. Boss Jin, I'm here again. Is there anything I want today? Boss Jin saw Lin Yu and said with a smile, it turns out that a distinguished guest is here. Please come in. When Lin Yu heard Boss Jin say this, he knew that there would be something going on today, and then followed him to the living room. Your distinguished guest gained a lot from Lao Li's place in the Magic City last time, didn't he? The goods from Boss Li are pretty good. If Boss Jin has any good stuff, don't hide it, just take it out. Boss Jin smiled and said, I actually collected a piece recently. This is specially reserved for you, the distinguished guest. Otherwise, I would not collect these younger soul bones. After Boss Jin finished speaking, he took out a wooden box, opened it and placed it in front of Lin Yu. Lin Yu took a look and saw a left leg bone of a sharp-clawed lynx. Boss Jin didn't know where it came from, but the quality was indeed better than that of the mouse soul. Bones are much stronger. Boss today, make a price. This is not the first time we have cooperated with our distinguished guest. Although this soul bone is not very old, the quality is much better than those rat legs and the like. The distinguished guest is willing to take it for 300 and 500. Okay, I want it. Boss Jin remembers to keep it for me next time. Definitely, definitely. Lin Yu took out 3.5 million in cash, put away the soul bone, left the Adventurers Association, returned to the space, changed his clothes, and then drove to the club. Lin Yu's car stopped at the entrance of the club. It was still raining, but the girl from last night came over holding an umbrella. The young lady greeted with a smile, Mr. Lin, you are here. Please come inside. Lin Yu followed the young lady to Wak Highway's office. Then the young lady left. Lin Yu walked directly in and sat opposite Wak Highway. Today Wak Highway was not wearing a cheongsam, but a white silk shirt. Lin Yu felt her white silk shirt looks better than her cheongsam. Hua Kaiwei picked up the teapot and poured Lin Yu a glass of water. When are you going to leave? Tomorrow. Hua Kaiwei nodded and sighed slightly. In 1 month, it will be time for Mo Shui to set off. By then I will be a person again. After Hua Kaiwei finished speaking, she picked up the teacup and drank it in one gulp. Even Lin Yu, a not very smart person, could tell that this sentence contained a lot of information. I will come back to see my sister if I have the chance. Hua Kaiwei said with a smile. When you arrive in the capital, you will still be able to think of me in Jinling. Lin Yu held Hua Kaiwei's hand directly, and then looked at her seriously. I can even give jellygrass to my sister, how could I forget her? Pa. Hua Kaiwei slapped Lin Yu on the back of his hand, but Lin Yu didn't take his hand back, so Hua Kaiwei let him go. Shameless. You actually don't care about that bit of jelly at all. Hee hee. Sister, I will take you somewhere. Lin Yu stood up and walked to Hua Kaiwei. Before she could react, he took her into his arms and then carried her to the life space. Hua Kaiwei was about to say something just now, but found that she had arrived in a strange place. Unlike the drizzle outside just now, here was blue sky and white clouds. Lin Yu let go of Hua Kaiwei, and she looked at her surroundings curiously. Lin Yu, is this a secret realm? Sister, you can think of this as a private secret realm, or you can think of it as a storage device that can hold living things. Hua Kaiwei nodded, and then she looked at the fairy grass in the yard. There were dozens of them. No wonder she was willing to sell one to herself for 1 yuan. Hua Kaiwei spent half an hour walking around the living space. With a few more black plums in her hand, she went to the yard sink to wash them, and then sat down on the sofa in the house. Hua Kaiwei took a bite of the freshly picked black plums. The taste was indeed very good, and then glanced at Lin Yu who was standing aside. You really don't have to worry about me wandering outside alone, and you're not afraid that the fairy grass I gave you will be taken away. Lin Yu waved his hand and said nonchalantly, just take it. Didn't you say that I don't care about the fairy grass itself? Then what are you interested in? Lin Yu looked at Hua Kaiwei and said with a smile, I'm interested in you, sister. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he picked up Hua Kaiwei and put her on his lap. Hua Kaiwei's face turned red to her ears. She wanted to struggle, but her whole body felt weak. Lin Yu saw her red face and kissed her directly. Hua Kaiwei opened her eyes wide instantly and finally bit Lin Yu. Although Lin Yu felt the smell of blood in his mouth, he did not flinch. After a moment, she responded, and Lin Yu picked her up and got into the room on the first floor. In the life space, on the bed in the bedroom on the first floor, Hua Kaiwei lay next to Lin Yu and rubbed circles on his chest. How long do you plan to keep your Yuanyang body? Wait until my cultivation skills are perfected. Besides, I'm only 19 this year. Don't be in a hurry. By the way, why do you have so many interesting things in the boudoir? To be honest, I never knew that life between husband and wife could be so interesting. Lin Yu turned his head to look at Hua Kaiwei, who had a rosy complexion, and kissed her gently. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the two of them went to take a bath. After coming out, Lin Yu asked Hua Kaiwei to sit in front of the dressing table, and he dried her hair and put it in a bun. Hua Kaiwei looked at Lin Yu, who was standing behind her in the mirror, combing her hair. This is the first time in my life that a man has combed my hair. Well, just don't mind if I don't comb my hair nicely. I'll go out and take a look later to make sure everything's okay, and then I'll take you out. Hua Kaiwei nodded slightly and agreed with Lin Yu's statement. After Lin Yu combed Hua Kaiwei's hair, he went to Hua Kaiwei's office and took a look. After confirming that no one was there, he brought Hua Kaiwei out. Hua Kaiwei looked at Lin Yu, thought for a moment and said, Lin Yu, how about having dinner at my house tonight? Just Mo Shui and I are at home. Not tonight. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I have to go back and clean up. Maybe next time if I have a chance. Then Lin Yu took out 10 pots of relatively good luminous grass and placed them on the floor of the office. Then he looked at Hua Kaiwei. Are these enough? If not enough, I will get some more. That's enough. Let Mo Shui and I stay in our room later to repel mosquitoes, so we don't have to turn on the lights at night. Lin Yu nodded, and then left Hua Kaiwei's office and walked out. On the way, he met the young lady who was leading the way. He nodded to her, got back in the car, and drove to the train station first. I bought 6 tickets to the capital at the train station, and then walked back. When Lin Yu returned home, Chen Jing walked out of the room. Xiao Yu, what do we need to bring? Auntie, just bring a change of clothes now. We don't need to bring anything else. We can just buy new winter clothes when the time comes. That's okay. I listen to you. On the other side, Hua Kaiwei also took her own car and returned home. Ah Fu opened the trunk of the car and moved 8 pots of nightglow into the living room. Ma'am, where do I need to put these things? Put it here first. Lin Moxu, who was playing with her mobile phone on the sofa, came over and looked at these luminous grasses curiously. Mom, where did these glow-in-the-dark grasses come from? This is a gift from your classmate Lin Yu. You can take 2 pots and put them in your own room. Lin Moxu shook her head. Lin Yu just fell into the eyes of money. If you say he sold it to you, I believe it more. Okay, it's not good to criticize others behind their back. Have you reached the 4th level? Lin Moxu smiled and nodded. Yes. It's already the 4th level. When Hua Kaiwei saw her daughter smiling, she was very happy because her daughter finally had a smile on her face. After dinner, Lin Yu accompanied Chen Jing and Chen Wenwen for a walk. When he came back, he called Lin Xiaotao and said he would pick them up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Lin Xiaotao said he understood. As for Yang Dabao and Xu Dewei, who decided to go there when school started, Lin Yu still told them not to leave the city during this period. If they were short of money, he told himself that he would remit it to them. Both of them understood and said they were not short of money. It was right to think about it. Last time Xu Dewei divided 50 million, which would be enough for their family to live for a long time as long as they did not buy a house in a wealthy area. Chen Jing stayed in Lin Yu's room for a while and then went back to her room. Lin Yu strengthened the soul bone he bought today to 100,000 years. The left leg bone of the Claw Mountain Cat King, age, 100,000 years, soul skill, graceful cat walk, instant movement. Lin Yu looked at the introduction of these soul skills and felt that they were pretty good. That left leg bone was quite suitable for Lu Ning or Lu Yani. Of course, Lu Ning was not suitable for absorbing soul bones now, and his own soul power was unstable. Let's talk about it later. Lin Yu put away the soul bone and lay on the bed to fall asleep. After a night of silence, Lin Yu got up early the next morning. After taking care of his personal hygiene, he drove to Jinling College. When she arrived at Tang Yanren's office, she had already gotten up and was washing up. Lin Yu looked around the room and found that all Tang Yanren's things were put away, leaving only 2 pots of luminous grass. Lin Yu conveniently put away the luminous grass. When Tang Yanren prepared everything, the two started to set off. When he arrived at the school gate, he stopped and the guard politely asked, "Teacher Tang, you have to leave." "Yes, I have been here for several years. It's time to leave. Please give this key to Principal Wu." Tang Yanren handed the office key to the doorman, and Lin Yu drove off. Tang Yanren looked at Lin Yu who was driving. "Lin Yu, I haven't had breakfast yet." "I haven't eaten yet. Let's pick up Lin Xiaotao and her mother. You guys can have breakfast near the train station later, and I'll go back to pick up my aunt and cousin." "That's okay." Tang Yanren nodded and said. 10 minutes later, the car stopped downstairs at Lin Xiaotao's house. Lin Yu got out of the car and went upstairs. Lin Xiaotao opened the door for him. Lin Yu looked at their mother and daughter and asked, "Are you ready?" Yi Susan thought for a while and asked, "Lin Yu, do we really not need to bring anything except a change of clothes?" "You don't need to take them with you. I have made arrangements for you in the capital. You should close the windows, water, electricity and gas. I will take away the 2 pots of luminous grass." After Lin Yu finished speaking, he put away the 2 pots of luminous grass, and turned over the mattresses on their beds and stacked them together. After making sure that there was no problem, the 3 of them went downstairs together, and the 2 of them got into the back seat of the car. Yi Susan saw Tang Yanren and said hello politely. "Hello, Teacher Tang." Tang Yanren also turned around and responded politely, "Mother Lin Xiaotao, you're welcome." Lin Yu sent the 3 of them to a restaurant near the train station and asked them to have breakfast first. He then returned home and Chen Jing walked out of the kitchen. "Xiao Yu, let's have something simple in the morning." "That's okay too. Breakfast for the 3 of us was very simple. Each person had 2 big meat buns and drank some boiled water. After eating the steamed buns, Lin Yu put away several pots of luminous grass, and then turned over the quilts on his bed and folded them together so that they would not be too dirty when he came back in a few months. After Lin Yu turned off the water, electricity and gas, Chen Jing locked the door and the 3 of them went downstairs and set off. 20 minutes later, they met in the waiting room of the train station. Chen Jing also greeted Tang Yanren and Yi Susan politely, and Lin Xiaotao also greeted Chen Jing obediently. Dear passengers, train number 5678 from Shanghai to Beijing is about to enter the station. If there are any passengers taking train number 5678, please start checking in and get on platform number 1. The train to the capital arrived, and Lin Yu greeted them to check in and get on the train. After getting on the train, Tang Yanren and Yi Susan's mother and daughter sat in one row, while Lin Yu's family sat in one row. Something worth mentioning is that the capital of this world is not the location of Beijing in the previous life, but is probably in Chang'an or Luoyang. He can't figure out the specific location. He is not a geography student. The place where Blue Star met the Earth in the previous life is not many. It takes 5 or 6 hours to get from Jinling to Beijing, and there is no scenery to see in the underground environment. Lin Yu had no choice but to put down his seat and start sleeping. There was also a restaurant on the train. At noon, the 6 of them went to have a simple meal. Then return to your previous seat. At around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Yu and his party finally arrived in the capital. After the 6 of them walked out of the train station, Lin Yu saw Zhao Qingdi waving to them in the distance. Lin Yu walked over with a few people and said directly to Zhao Qingdi, "There are too many of us to fit in one car. You drive in front and lead the way, and I will follow you on a motorcycle." Zhao Qingdi nodded. All right. At this time, Zhao Qingdi was no longer as enchanting as when she dressed up in Jinling City, and instead looked much quieter. Lin Yu took out a car and a motorcycle, and then asked them to get in the car. Chen Wenwen said she wanted to take a motorcycle. Lin Yu directly gave her a helmet. After she put on the helmet, she followed the car and set off. There were more private cars on the road in Jingcheng than in Jinling, but there was not much congestion on the road. Half an hour later, Lin Yu saw the gate of Jingcheng College. Lin Yu did not take a closer look and followed the car driven by Zhao Qingdi. We walked into a high-end community called Shushan County and stopped in front of the courtyard of a 2-story townhouse. Zhao Qingdi took out the key card and swiped open the courtyard door, and all 7 people in the group walked in. The house here is similar to the one in the life space. Lin Yu and Chen Jing have seen photos before and have an idea of what the house looks like. Lin Yu saw that Yi Susan and Lin Xiaotao couldn't sit still, so he said hello to Chen Jing. "Auntie, please clean up here, and I'll send Taozi and the others there." "Yeah, okay, then go ahead." Lin Yu called them to set off, but he didn't expect Tang Yanren to get in the car as well. "Lin Yu, just leave it at the school gate for me later." Lin Yu thought for a moment, then looked back at Tang Yanren and said, "If you are not in a hurry, I will accompany you to school after we deliver Dao Zi." Tang Yanren looked at Lin Yu in front of her, thought for a moment and nodded. Zhao Qingdi started the engine and set off. 10 minutes later, the vehicle drove into a community called Jingcheng University. This community was just to the left of Jingcheng University. The side I just had was on the right. The vehicle stopped at the foot of a high-rise building. Tang Yanren did not get out of the car. Zhao Qingdi took the 3 of them in the elevator to the 29th floor and was almost approaching the top floor. When I arrived at the door of 2901's house, there was a fingerprint code lock on the door. The fingerprint password lock is my new one, and the initial password is still 123,456 #. The operating instructions are on the shoe cabinet. You can go back and reset the fingerprint and password. After Zhao Qingdi finished speaking, he took out the key and opened the door, and then handed a bunch of keys to Lin Yu. Several people went in and took a look. Each room had a private bathroom in a luxurious 3-bedroom room. After Lin Yu placed a pot of luminous grass in each bedroom, he handed the key to Yi Susan. "Aunt Yi, I'll pick you up later and let's have something to eat together tonight." Yi Susan shook her head. "No. Lin Yu, we just came here today. It's almost 4 o'clock. We also have to tidy up the house and eat. We can do it any time." Hearing what Yi Susan said, Lin Yu did not insist, and then said goodbye to them and took the elevator downstairs with Zhao Qingdi. The 2-bedroom apartment you asked me to buy is also in this community. Do you want to take a look now? Lin Yu shook his head. Forget it for today. Give me the key. I'll go over and take a look when I have time later. Zhao Qingdi handed Lin Yu a bunch of keys and the floor room number, which she sent to Lin Yu through her mobile phone. After the two went downstairs, Zhao Qingdi returned the car key to Lin Yu. I won't go into Beijing University. You can go there by yourselves. Lin Yu asked curiously, where do you live now? Zhao Qingdi smiled and pointed to the senior management on the side. After Lin Yu nodded, he got into the car, started the car and drove out of the community. Lin Yu, is this woman the one you rescued outside Jinling City? Yes, at that time, she couldn't stay in Jinling any longer, so I asked her to come to the capital to work for me. After a while, the car drove to the gate of Beijing University. The guard saw that he was driving with a federal license plate and let him in. The federal license plate is very transparent and is indeed very convenient, but the disadvantage is that anyone can search for the owner of the car with a mobile phone. How should we go? Keep going straight. When you reach the lake and there is no road, turn left. Under Tang Yanren's guidance, Lin Yu walked around Beijing University and finally stopped in front of a row of old bungalows. After the two got off the car, they saw Bai Xiaoman walking out of the small bungalow. Lin Yu waved and said hello. Hello, Teacher Bai. Okay, sit inside the room. Lin Yu followed Tang Yanren into the house. Lin Yu looked around. It was a 2-bedroom house. Although it was just an ordinary bungalow from the outside, the interior decoration was also very modern. Although the house was not big, Lin Yu knew, this kind of small bungalow cannot be bought with your own money. Tang Yanren was not polite. After inviting Lin Yu to sit down, she took a can of tea under the coffee table and made Lin Yu a cup of tea. It seemed that she was indeed familiar with this place. Bai Xiaoman also sat down on the sofa. Yanren, the school has communicated well, and you can just be the teacher directly. The school also hopes that you will put aside the grudge between you and Zhang Feiyang. The Zhang family itself is a university in Beijing. The family, and Zhang Feiyang himself is now serving in the imperial city. Although the royal family has no real power now, it is not something that we can offend. Quote. Tang Yanren smiled and said, how dare I go against him? Their family is a noble family with a great business. Now I am alone. No, I have an 18-year-old boyfriend. Teacher, don't worry, I will return to the capital. Just stay in the academy and don't go anywhere. Bai Xiaoman nodded. That's good. The school has also arranged an apartment for you. I went to check it out before and it's pretty good. Although it's not big, it has everything. Lin Yu didn't want to listen to their chat. Instead, he used his mobile phone to search for Zhang Feiyang and the Zhang family in Beijing. He also found Zhang Feiyang. He was really a handsome young man. Now he wondered if this guy was Tang Yanren's former boyfriend. Tang Yanren and Bai Xiaoman chatted for a while, then asked Lin Yu to leave. Bai Xiaoman asked, Lin Yu, when are you going to come over to sign up, and what about your sister? Teacher Bai, how about tomorrow? My sisters and I will come over tomorrow. Bai Xiaoman nodded. That's okay. I'll wait for you in the academic affairs office tomorrow. After leaving Teacher Bai's residence, Lin Yu drove Tang Yanren to the classroom apartment building. This was no longer a small bungalow, but a 6-story apartment building. The good thing is that there is also an elevator. The two of them took the elevator to the top floor. Tang Yanren found her room number according to the number on the key, opened the door and walked in. Lin Yu walked around the house. It was a 1-bedroom house, larger than the house in number. 1 middle school. It mainly had an extra study room. This study room was specially designed for school teachers. Lin Yu helped Tang Yanren make the bed and put a pot of luminous grass in each room. Tang Yanren put her change of clothes in the closet and placed the massage chair in the living room. Yanren, come back with me for dinner tonight. Tang Yanren shook her head. No. There is food in the school cafeteria, and there is a lot of food in the space that you prepared before. Lin Yu nodded. Okay. Then I'll go back first. I'll come to see you tomorrow. Lin Yu gave Tang Yanren a hug, and Tang Yanren kissed him. Then Lin Yu left the college and returned home. Chen Jing was already preparing dinner, and Lin Yu placed luminous grass in every room upstairs and downstairs, or on the corners of the stairs. Xiao Yu, let's eat. Chen Jing had already prepared dinner. She thought there would be other people eating at home, but only Lin Yu came back. She put away the unfried vegetables and made tomato and egg soup directly. The three of them sat at the dining table to eat. For dinner, they had a meat dish, a vegetable dish and a soup. Chen Wenwen asked directly, "Brother, which room do you want to stay in tonight?" "My mother said I'll leave the master bedroom upstairs to you." "Don't bother, I'll just live in the one downstairs, so I don't have to go up and down the stairs." "Auntie, you can live in the master bedroom upstairs." Chen Jing thought for a while and nodded. After dinner, Lin Yu took a look at his yard, and then planted 2 blueberries and 2 jujube tree seeds in the yard. After pouring water, he began to release the growth of all things. Soon after, the 4 plants grew wildly and then bloomed. Chen Wenwen ran over and shook the tree to pollinate the flowers. After a while, they began to bear fruit. Lin Yu stopped when the fruit grew to a certain size. "No, keep going. I was ready to eat fruit in my yard, but you stopped." A strange female voice sounded. Lin Yu looked over and saw a woman with silver hair. The woman was very young and very beautiful. She looked about 20 years old. One of the jujube trees he planted did grow crooked. Half of it went to the yard next door. Lin Yu thought for a while and looked at the jujube tree, continuing to grow until all the jujubes turned red, then he stopped again. Su Moyue was overjoyed and started happily picking dates from the patch of dates in her yard. Each date was as big as a small kiwi fruit, and she quickly finished picking up half of the tree. Su Muyu took a date and rubbed it on her body twice, and began to taste the taste. It was indeed delicious. Lin Yu and Chen Wenwen were also picking dates in the yard opposite. "Lin Yu, do you still remember me?" Lin Yu glanced at the silver-haired woman, shook his head, and then continued to pick dates. "You gave me 2 little rabbits before." Lin Yu listened to what she said and stroked his memory. The only person who gave him the rabbit and whose face he didn't know was the masked woman sitting next to Zhao Qingdi. "Are you the one who sat next to Wadi? How did you know that my name is Lin Yu?" Su Muyu nodded. "Back then, when I went to Jinling to find a suitable Talon Link's soul ring for myself, I hired Wadi and his team. At that time, Wadi asked the code scanner at the city gate, and the code scanner told us your name is Yu Lin. Later, when I gave Lin Moxu rabbits in the evening, she took out some fruits and gave them to me, saying that a classmate named Lin Yu in her class sold them to her. I asked Lin Moxu to describe you, and I knew Yu Lin as Lin Yu." "Oh," Lin Yu responded and continued picking dates. Su Muyu then asked, "Aren't you curious about my relationship with Lin Moxu?" "I'm not curious. My relationship with Lin Moxu is just average. You and she both have silver hair. You are also a member of the Lin family. Lin Yu, listen up. My name is Su Muyu, and I am Lin Moxu's cousin. I will also be your future senior." Lin Yu nodded to Su Moyue, and then returned home with Chen Wenwen. Su Moyue felt that this little brother was a bit difficult to deal with. After returning home, Lin Yu washed some dates and put them on the coffee table in the living room. The 3 of them each took out a date to taste. "Brother, why do you ignore that beautiful sister when she wants to talk to you?" Lin Yu smiled and said, "Wenwen, if your brother goes to hang out with every beautiful woman, I'm afraid you will have too many sisters-in-law to count." "Brother, you are so beautiful." After the sky got dark, Chen Wenwen and Chen Jing went upstairs. Lin Yu returned to the room on the first floor, took a shower, put on a black gluttonous beast cloak, and left quietly. According to the location on his mobile phone, he appeared on the roof of a high-rise building during the night, and then headed towards Zhang's house. The lights of the streets in the capital perfectly concealed the figure constantly leaping on the roof of the high-rise building. 10 minutes later, Lin Yu appeared on the tallest building of Zhang's mansion. The entire Zhang's mansion was as large as an ancient royal palace. Lin Yu was not in the mood to care about this, so he immediately used the golden eyes of destruction. The million-year-old golden eyes made the entire Zhang mansion invisible to him. Apart from seeing the chaotic relationship between men and women among the nobles, he did not see Zhang Feiyang. Then he left here and went to the imperial city. Go in the direction. He was like this, whatever he decided to do, he had to do it, otherwise he wouldn't be able to sleep well at night. Half an hour later, he entered the interior of the imperial city. He had no intention of admiring the Daxia Palace, so he began to look for it. Zhang Feiyang. At the bottom of the Daxia Palace, an old man with gray hair and a childlike face suddenly opened his eyes while meditating. He just felt that he was being spied on, but this feeling soon disappeared. He immediately took out his mobile phone and entered a row of information in the family group chat. There is a peerless powerful man entering the imperial city. If he is not causing trouble for my Yin family, just let him out. Good guy. The members of the royal family who had not yet slept were shocked. The ancestors said that a peerless powerful man had entered the imperial city, and that was absolutely true, so they summoned their men to gather at the Tai Chi Hall. Lin Yu was also surprised that the Daxia royal family actually hit a 99-level ultimate soul saint. No wonder that even if the Daxia royal family had no political power, the royal family still had some privileges. Sure enough, strength was king. Soon, all members of the royal family in the imperial city gathered at Tai Chi Palace, which saved Lin Yu from searching one by one. Soon he saw Zhang Feiyang in the crowd. This Zhang Feiyang was already at the 8th level. Lin Yu jumped up and landed next to Zhang Feiyang, and slapped Zhang Feiyang on the back of the head. Lin Yu was too fast. Before he could react, his eyes went dark and he didn't know what to do. Just as Lin Yu held Zhang Feiyang in his hands, 5 figures appeared next to him. All of them were 9th-level soul saints. 2 of them had a relationship with Lin Yu. They were the fat and thin soul saint next to Yin Zuyan. As for the old guy underground, he didn't move. Stop, you are so brave, you dare to come to my imperial city to cause trouble. Do you really think that there is no one in my Yin family? The person who spoke was none other than Prince Yin Zuyan, an old acquaintance of Lin Yu. Today is a personal grudge between Zhang Feiyang and I, not to cause trouble for your Yin family, otherwise Prince Yin Yu would not have a chance to come back from the devil's capital. When Yin Zuyan heard Lin Yu's words, his heart skipped a beat. No wonder the ancestor said that a peerless powerful man had come to the imperial city. Now he unconsciously felt a little pain in his chest again. Lin Yu did not fight with Moji. He carried the unconscious Zhang Feiyang and left the imperial city in a flash. The 3 worshippers wanted to chase him, but they were stopped by the fat and thin soul saints. If he chased him, he would end up dead. Everyone saw it. Shang Yin Zuyan. Fat soul saint asked cautiously, Prince, what is Sir Zhang doing and what is your reply? Yin Zuyan sighed, and then said, tell Lord Zhang that Feiyang has offended someone he can't afford to offend. If he wants to make trouble, let him make trouble. Then the federal government will be more willing to see that the capital will lose one nobleman. Then Yin Zuyan looked at the people around him. It's okay, everyone should disperse. The royal family members left in groups. Yin Zuyan waved to Slender Soul Saint, who came over. Prince, go and investigate. Has Zhang Feiyang offended anyone recently? It's the prince. The Slender Soul Saint left, and then an attendant came over and saluted Yin Zuyan. Prince, your majesty invites you. After leaving the imperial city, Lin Yu took Zhang Feiyang to the life space. He patted Zhang Feiyang awake. Zhang Feiyang looked at the unfamiliar place and then at the man in black in front of him, and found that he was covered in blood. It's not exciting. Brother, we had no grudges in the past and have no grudges in the recent past. Why do you want to arrest me? Even if it means death, can you let me die clearly? Lin Yu didn't explain his hobbies to his enemies. What if Zhang Feiyang had a cheat and could be reborn? Wouldn't he be causing trouble for himself? It would be better to let him die in peace. Thinking of this, he grabbed Zhang Feiyang's head and started to use the suction method. This was the first time he used this martial art. A huge amount of soul power poured into his dantian, and Lin Yu's own soul power soared like a rocket. 36, 37, 38, 69, 70, 71. After reaching the 71st level, the soul power will no longer increase. And Zhang Feiyang in his hand has turned into a mummy, with 4 soul bones scattered on the ground. He is worthy of being a son of a wealthy family in the capital, and his limbs have complete soul bones. He can reach the 8th level, and he probably has these soul bones. Credit. Lin Yu pulled off the storage ring on the mummy's hand, put the mummy away, and went to the bathroom to take a bath. Then he lay on the bed and looked at his attribute panel. Zhang Feiyang, who was at the 8th level, was able to reach the 7th level. It seemed that everyone's soul power was really different, but he didn't know what he needed for these sudden increases in soul power. How long does it take to stabilize? The life scepter unlocked 4 more soul rings. Lin Yu first added the 4th soul ring to 9,999 years, the 5th soul ring to 80,000 years, the 6th soul ring to 99,999 years, and the 7th soul ring to 100,000 years. Then he looked at the soul skills. The 4th soul ring, the Hellthorn soul ring, soul skill, Thorn shield. Thorn shield. A thorn shield with a diameter of 2 meters is built around the target's body. When the thorn shield is attacked, there is a certain chance of reflecting damage. The 5th soul ring, the blood-sucking vine soul ring, soul skill, wither. Withering. It can cause the target to wither and age quickly. The effect of the soul skill is determined by the amount of energy input by the user. The 6th soul ring, void vine soul ring, soul skill, void portal. Void portal. Summon a plant one-way portal, through the portal, to reach the place where the user wants to go. The void portal can exist for 1 minute. You can use soul power to close or extend the existence time of the void portal. Cross-border transmission is not allowed. The 7th soul ring, 100,000-year secondary world tree soul ring, soul skill, martial soul true body, a secondary world tree sapling. Secondary world tree seedling. Summon a secondary world tree from the god realm of life. After planting the secondary world tree, the secondary world tree will continuously release the aura of heaven and earth. It can change the life environment within a certain range. Note the secondary soul skill is a one-time soul skill, and the secondary world sapling is the only item. Please choose a safe location to plant it. Lin Yu was excited. He didn't care about all the soul skills. The most practical one was the void portal. He had no intention of looking at other things. He immediately left the life space and appeared on a roof. Lin Yu took out the life scepter, then thought about the appearance of his room in his mind, and then used the soul skill, void portal. A green light appeared from the top of the scepter of life and fell on the roof in front of him. 2 green vines rose from the ground, one on the left and one on the right. Then the 2 vines intertwined together to form an arch shape, and the arch took shape. At that moment, a light door appeared in the middle of the arch. Lin Yu could see his room through the light door, so he stepped in directly. Lin Yu took a look and saw that it was indeed his own room. It was so convenient. Then Tang Yanren appeared in Lin Yu's mind. He used the void portal again. This time he saw Tang Yanren sleeping on the bed through the portal. Tang Yanren turned his head. Lai took a look in the direction of the portal. Lin Yu thought for a while and got in. Tang Yanren was very surprised when she saw Lin Yu appearing out of thin air, and sat up directly from her clothes. Lin Yu, why did you come here? Lin Yu came to lie down next to her and held her in his arms. My strength has improved a lot tonight. This is a new soul skill. How did you know that I would appear? I don't know either, I just feel the soul power fluctuating in that location. What kind of soul skill is this? This is called the void portal. Lin Yu explained this soul skill, and Tang Yanren was happy, hee. Lin Yu, this soul skill is really tailor-made for you. It will be so convenient for you to be a time management master in the future. From this woman it only takes a few minutes to get to that woman. Okay, don't be happy, let's get down to business. I'll try to see if I can restore your arm. If it doesn't work, I'll have to think of other ways. Lin Yu got off the bed and turned on the bed lamp. Tang Yanren was a little puzzled. Lin Yu sat on her right side and removed her prosthetic leg. The scepter of life appeared in Lin Yu's hand, and all 7 soul rings on his body rose, yellow, yellow, purple, black, black and red. Martial Spirit's true form. Chapter 91. A green light rose up on Lin Yu's body, his clothes turned green, and he turned into a tree spirit, and then released a healing technique on Tang Yanren's broken right arm. A green light fell on Tang Yanren's broken arm. Tang Yanren felt itchy and then felt countless ants eating her flesh. There was a squirming movement at the gap in the broken arm. The broken bone burst out first, and granulation began to grow around the bone. As Lin Yu's soul power continued to be released, the bones and granulation grew rapidly. Half an hour later, Lin Yu had deactivated his martial spirit avatar and returned to his original appearance. Tang Yanren looked at her right hand and then moved it. It was completely normal. The only drawback was that her right hand was too white and tender. Yanran, I'm going back first, and I'll come back to you tomorrow. And you can wash your clothes by yourself tomorrow. Aren't you staying here tonight? No, my aunt doesn't even know I'm going out tonight. Tang Yanran hugged him and kissed him. Soon after, Lin Yu opened the portal and left. After returning home, there was almost no level 70 soul power left in his body. Lin Yu took a look at the time and it was already past 12 o'clock, and then prepared to go to bed. He found that he couldn't sleep, so he quietly went upstairs to the master bedroom, lay down next to Chen Jing, and put her in his arms. Chen Jing seemed to she also felt Lin Yu's presence, so she found a comfortable position in his arms and fell asleep. After a night of silence, the next morning, the sun shone in through the gap in the curtains. Chen Jing looked at Lin Yu who was sleeping soundly in front of her. Chen Jing got up gently and went to the bathroom to start washing up. Soon after Lin Yu got up, the two came to the life space. Chen Jing went to pick eggs and vegetables, and Lin Yu released all things to grow on the fairy grass. Lin Yu sent Chen Jing out of the life space to cook. Lin Yu returned to the life space, moved the pavilion in the center of the pond to the shore, and then summoned the secondary world tree from the life god world, a 2-meter-high tree. Small trees appear. Lin Yu planted a small tree in the center of the pond and island, and then everything grew like crazy against the small tree. As a result, the small tree grew about 1 centimeter. Lin Yu decisively gave up the idea of producing this world tree and returned to his own home outside. Room. Chen Wenwen also went downstairs at this time. After Lin Yu washed up, the three of them began to eat in the restaurant. After breakfast, Lin Yu drove Chen Jing and Chen Wenwen in a car. He first went to the downstairs of Lin Xiaotao's house and made a phone call. Lin Xiaotao came over after a while. After Lin Xiaotao got in the car, she saw Chen Jing and Chen Wenwen in the car and greeted them immediately. Hello, Aunt. Hello, Wenwen. Chen Jing also responded with a smile. How about you, Taozi? Lin Yu turned the car and started to set off. Lin Xiaotao thought for a moment and said, Lin Yu, today is Sunday. Is there anyone working at the school? Taozi, we are going to school, and school is on holiday now. The teachers who are still in school don't care if today is Sunday. The car drove to the school's academic affairs office. After the four people got out of the car, they saw Tang Yanran waving to several people. Tang Yanran was wearing a long-sleeved shirt today and a white glove on her right hand. She couldn't see her right hand. Already restored. Aunt Lin Yu and Chen Wenwen, you two stay in the reception room for a while, I will take them to enroll in school, and we will go to the attached middle school together later. That's fine. Then I'll trouble teacher Tang. Chen Jing and Chen Wenwen first went to the reception room for a meeting. Lin Yu and Lin Xiaotao followed Tang Yanran to the academic affairs office. Bai Xiaoman was already here. Then he asked them to take out their files and admission notices, and the archivist here recorded them. On the books. Okay, we have already registered here. Regarding classes and dormitories, specific arrangements will be made when the school starts. Nothing happened here. Bai Xiaoman handed Tang Yanran an admission certificate, and Tang Yanran took the two of them away. Soon Lin Yu drove into the high school affiliated to Beijing University. Tang Yanran took Chen Jing and Chen Wenwen to find the dean here. Lin Yu and Lin Xiaotao were still in the car. Taozi, how did you sleep last night? Lin Xiaotao thought for a while and said, it's not bad. The wind is quite strong when the windows are opened. There is no need to turn on the air conditioner at night, and the room is very cool. That's fine. Let's buy some electric cars later. After all, we still have some way to leave the school. Besides, we don't know which area of the college we will be in then. Lin Xiaotao nodded. Yes. I listen to you. Soon after, Tang Yanran, Chen Jing and the others returned to the car. Lin Yu drove off and asked Lin Xiaotao to search for a place selling electric vehicles. When they arrived at the place where electric cars were sold, Lin Yu and the others each picked a mini electric car to facilitate their daily travel. After leaving the place selling electric cars, Lin Yu sent Lin Xiaotao and Chen Jing home respectively, and finally sent him and Tang Yanran back to the college apartment. Lin Yu threw himself on the sofa. Tang Yanran straddled his lap and hooked her around his neck. Lin Yu picked her up and lay directly on the sofa. Lin Yu, what did you do last night? I thought you wouldn't ask. Let me show you something. Lin Yu took out a right arm bone. Tang Yanran took it and took a look at it. and then said in shock, "Is this my own moonlight owl beast right arm bone?" Lin Yu nodded. Tang Yanren returned the soul bones to Lin Yu, and then lay in his arms. She didn't know what she was thinking. Lin Yu took this opportunity to show all the 4 soul bones that Zhang Feiyang had dropped last night. At a glance, except for the right arm bone he snatched from Tang Yanren, which was 50,000 years old, the others were all around 20 to 30,000 years old. Lin Yu strengthened them all to 100,000 years old. Moonlight Owl Beast King's right arm bone, age, 100,000 years, soul skills, soul moon fire, tornado hurricane. Jungle Banshee King's left arm bone, age, 100,000 years, soul skills, psychic scream, lightning and thunder. Swamp Water Spider King's right leg bone, age, 100,000 years, soul skills, walking on water, water column cage. The left leg bone of the Grassland Gazelle King, age, 100,000 years, soul skills, fast running, super perception. Lin Yu felt that these soul bones and soul skills were pretty good, so he gave himself a second martial soul and 4 soul rings worth 100,000 years. The 4th soul ring, the 100,000-year-old Rock Snake King soul ring, soul skills, poisonous snake sting, petrified shooting. The 5th soul ring, the 100,000-year-old Lava Spider King soul ring, soul skills, net shooting, lava shooting. The 6th soul ring, 100,000-year wind elemental soul ring, soul skills, rapid shooting, whirlwind armor piercing bullets. The 7th soul ring, 100,000-year-old mechanical giant soul ring, soul skills, martial soul avatar, firearm conversion. Lin Yu didn't pay attention to anything else, but looked at the so-called firearm conversion of the 7th soul ring. Firearms conversion. After using this soul skill, the God-killing Barrett is converted into the God-killing Gatling, discarding all the active soul skills of the soul rings, and converting them into a steady stream of bullets. Sao Nian. All fear comes from insufficient firepower. There is nothing that cannot be solved by a burst of bursts. If there is still more, then continue with bursts of bursts. Close tortoise shell bracket. Gatling. This thing must be fun for Barrett. Sniping from a distance is not his style at all. Go back and find an enemy to try. Lin Yu glanced at Tang Yanren in his arms and found that she was asleep. It seemed that she did not sleep well last night. Then he took out Zhang Feiyang's storage ring and felt the inside of the space. Good guy, this guy is really rich, there are tens of billions of federal coins in it. He is so rich, and he still works for the royal family. Or is this money given by the royal family? Lin Yu didn't think much about it, and then checked other items. Except for money, there was nothing that Lin Yu liked. The car with the Beijing license plate was just scrap metal, but he could use a few barrels of gasoline. Lin Yu transferred everything to the system space, leaving only some adventure necessities in the space ring. Then he transferred all the things he didn't want in the space into an empty storage bag, and went back to find a place to throw them away. After doing all this, he closed his eyes and started to sleep. He slept until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Tang Yanren still had to go to the toilet, so the two of them got up from the sofa. Lin Yu took the phone and took a look. Lu Ning sent her a message at noon. Lin Yu. How are you doing? Lin Yu immediately replied. The matter has been settled, when can you come over? At this time, Tang Yanren came out of the bathroom. Lin Yu put down his mobile phone and went to the bathroom to wash his hands. Then he took out 2 bowls of crab noodles and the two of them started eating. When I got the bracelet on your hand in the Fishman village, I also got a key to the secret realm inside the bracelet. Tang Yanren swallowed a mouthful of noodles and looked at Lin Yu. Oh. What secret realm? How many levels can you enter? What are the restrictions? The information I got is this. Title Secret Realm. It can accommodate 5 people at a time. It requires a minimum level of 5, and the cooling time is 1 month for each use. I am a little confused about whether this can accommodate 5 people. Is it the upper limit of 5 people? It must be 5 people. Quote. Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, it should be the upper limit of 5 people. Even if you go in alone, there is no problem. Our school also has a secret realm. The interior of the secret realm is relatively large. The entry level is 3rd level. The maximum number of people who can enter is 10 people. The cooling time is only 1 week. When you freshmen gather 10 level 3 students, the school will be open to you. I don't think freshmen will be able to produce 10 third-level students in the short term. This thing is not for freshmen. After Tang Yanran finished eating the noodles in the bowl, she put down her chopsticks, took the paper on the side to wipe her mouth, and then picked up the tea on the side and took a sip. As far as I know, in addition to you and Lin Xiaotao, there are 2 third-level students in Capital College this year. They are twins from Tianfu Ancient City. The elder brother is named Chong Wei, the martial spirit is He Wuchang, and the younger brother is named Chong Wu. The martial spirit is Bai Wuchang. It is said that they wanted to go to the Holy See Academy, but they were rejected by the Holy See Academy, saying that if their martial souls went to the Holy See, the power of the holy light of the Holy See would suppress their development, so they chose to come to the Capital Academy. Black and white are impermanent. Are they from the ancient city of Tianfu? I think they are from the ancient city of Fengdu, which is more or less the same. Tang Yanran nodded. It's true. The Chong family was originally a famous family in Fengdu City. 100 years ago, evil spirits broke out in Fengdu City. Those evil spirits kept emerging from the underground of Fengdu Ancient City. The local government organized a large number of spirit masters nearby. A dam was built in the Yangtze River and the water flooded the ancient city of Fengdu. The Chong family was the one who migrated from the ancient city of Fengdu to the ancient city of Tianfu. Lin Yu was shocked. In his previous life, the ancient city of Fengdu was flooded due to the construction of a dam, but this world is actually the masterpiece of a soul master. After the 2 of them finished eating and Tang Yanran washed the dishes, they both started practicing to consolidate their strength. At around 6 o'clock, Tang Yanran took Lin Yu to the school cafeteria for dinner. Now that the school was on holiday, the big cafeteria was not open, so they went to the small cafeteria on the 2nd floor. The small canteen on the 2nd floor is similar to the previous life. They are all privately contracted small restaurants. The special flavors from all over the Federation can be found here. Tang Yanran looked at Lin Yu and asked, "What do you want to eat tonight?" "We didn't eat until 3 o'clock, so we're not too hungry." "Let's go eat fried chicken." "That's okay too." The 2 came to a fried chicken restaurant, and Tang Yanran ordered 4 chicken legs, 4 chicken wings, 2 burgers, and 2 cups of Fat House Happy Water. The 2 of them brought the food to an empty table and sat down to eat. To be honest, Lin Yu hadn't eaten fried chicken for a long time. It was because he didn't have the ingredients. The ingredients in his previous space were almost as good as those outside the city. With these ingredients such as animal meat and oysters, they rarely go to the market. "Yanran, let's go to the secret realm another day." Tang Yanran nodded. Yes. The minimum level required for the secret realm is 5th level. It is estimated that the soul beasts inside are all 6th and 7th levels. I heard that in each secret realm, there are rare elite monsters for the first time, but not for the second time. Got it. Lin Yu spread his hands. It's probably out of the question. The last person who got the key to the secret realm couldn't have gone in. Also, Yanran, have you ever heard of soul gold coins? Tang Yanran shook her head. At this moment, an old man sat next to Lin Yu with a lunch box. Tang Yanran stood up immediately. Dean Duan. The old man was Duan Pilin, the dean of Beijing College. Duan Pilin nodded with a smile and motioned for Tang Yanran to sit down. Xiao Tang, I heard Teacher Bai say that you returned to school, and I was also relieved. When that unfortunate incident happened, I was in the Western continent. When I came back, Teacher Bai said that you had left the capital, and sometimes there were some once something happens, I can't change the result. I hope you can understand. Tang Yanran nodded and sat down and said, Understood, thank you principal for remembering me. It's okay. Duan Pilin then looked at Lin Yu. I just heard this classmate talk about soul gold coins. I guess my classmates should have soul gold coins. Do you think it looks like this? Duan Pilin said as he took out a soul gold coin. Place it on the dining table. Lin Yu glanced at Duan Pilin and took out the soul gold coin. It was indeed the same as what he got, and nodded. Duan Pilin continued. In addition to the federal civilization, our blue star also has many other racial civilizations. Among those civilizations, their daily trading currency is soul gold coins. Many adventurers in our federation mistakenly enter the territories of other races. Some of them have done transactions with the locals there and have obtained soul gold coins, and soul gold coins are universal among all races. And sometimes transactions between soul saints are also conducted with soul gold coins. After all, at our level, federal coins are just a bunch of numbers. You can understand that soul gold coins are a universal currency that overrides federal currencies, because soul gold coins you can buy many things that cannot be bought with federal currency. Quote. Lin Yu heard Duan Pilin say this, and then asked, what is the exchange rate between soul gold and the Federation? Duan Pilin smiled and said, 1 to 100 million. Okay, it seems that the water in this world is really deep. I was thinking before that after there are too many federal currencies, there will definitely be other high-level currencies. Isn't this the case? There are hundreds of billions of federal coins in my own space, not as valuable as the millions of soul gold coins in the Prince's Ring. The Prince's Ring and the original storage bracelet contained about 6 million soul gold coins in total. Lin Yu never expected that a novice village like Jinling City could produce so many good things. Lin Yu and Tang Yanren left the cafeteria after dinner, and then Tang Yanren took him for a walk in the college. Lin Yu, I found that you don't respect Principal Duan too much. This guy is too pedantic. As a soul saint, he can't even protect the students in his own school. He is a bit incompetent. TCH, you think everyone is the same as you, doing things just for the sake of enlightenment. Interpersonal relationships in the capital are very complicated. Principal Duan has to take the overall situation into consideration. The key point is that Principal Duan doesn't have your strength. Looking at the overall situation. What an offensive word. Forget it. People like me will never fit into their so-called circle. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he shook his head, and Tang Yanren held his arm and walked around the campus. 2 hours later, the two returned to the apartment. Lin Yu, you go take a shower today, and I'll wash your clothes later. No, let's wash together today. In fact, the two of them had experienced everything except home runs. Tang Yanren was not too embarrassed. The two of them went to take a bath together and wiped each other's backs. 10 minutes later, Lin Yu changed into a set of pajamas and came out. He glanced at his phone. Lu Ning sent him a message back, saying that they planned to leave on Thursday. Lin Yu said that he would pick them up at the train station on Thursday afternoon, and then he began to meditate and practice. Tang Yanren washed the clothes for the two of them and hung them up on the balcony. She also sat and practiced for a while. She also wanted to absorb the soul ring and reach the 8th level as soon as possible. 2 weeks after running the holy art of Chenkin, Lin Yu was lying on the bed. After thinking for a while, he took his mobile phone and sent a message to Zhao Qingdi, asking her if she wanted to go to the secret realm. He also told her about the title Secret Realm. Zhao Qingdi quickly replied to the message, go. Why not go? Can I bring one more person with me? You wouldn't say it's Su Moyue from next door to me, right? Indeed, she helped me a lot when I first arrived in the capital. Okay, count her in. You have to make an agreement with her. One of my soul skills is hypnosis. If she can't control her mouth, I will control it for her. Let's tentatively schedule it for Tuesday morning. Zhao Qingdi replied okay, and Lin Yu put the phone on the bedside table to charge. At this time, Tang Yanren also returned to the bed, got directly into his arms, and the two hugged each other and fell asleep. After breakfast the next day, Lin Yu rode back home and returned to Lingquan space with Chen Jing. Xiao Yu, there are so many changes in this space. It's not too big, it's just that the location of the pavilion has been changed. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he invited all the immortal grasses in the yard back to the small island in the center of the pond. This time he directly took flower pots and planted them around the secondary world tree, and then released all things to them to grow, and the world tree grow another centimeter taller. Afterwards, he went to give some magic grasses with properties and ghost mushrooms in the hole, and brushed a few things to grow. After doing all this, Bian and Chen Jing came outside. Auntie, isn't Wenwen up yet? Wenwen went to play with that Su Moyue next door. It's good to have someone to play with her, so that she won't be bored when she comes here just now, Auntie. I'm going to find Taozi. Chen Jing smiled. Go ahead. Will you be back in the evening? I'll definitely come back. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he rode away from home. Soon after, he arrived at Taozi's community, took the elevator to the 29th floor, came to the door and knocked on the door. Dong dong dong. The door was opened by Lin Xiaotao, and Lin Yu welcomed him in. Lin Yu, enter your fingerprint into the password lock. This way you can come in even if we are not at home. After some operations, Lin Xiaotao entered Lin Yu's fingerprint into the password lock and sent the password to his mobile phone. Lin Yu placed the massage chair in the space against the wall in the living room, then went to the kitchen to wash a basket of jujubes, came out and sat down on the coffee table. Lin Xiaotao came over and sat next to him, held his arm and said, Lin Yu, last night I absorbed the 5,000-year-old Death Knight's soul ring. I am now at the 3rd level. Lin Yu looked at Lin Xiaotao with an expectant look on her face and touched her head. Well, it's about time that our grades in school will be among the best. Lin Yu invited them to try the dates he planted the day before yesterday, and then looked at Yi Susan. Aunt Yi, let's go out to the market here and see what ingredients are missing. Let's buy more. Yi Susan smiled and said, yeah, that's good. Soon after, the 3 of them went downstairs and drove to the nearby vegetable market. The variety of ingredients here was much richer than that in Jinling, and there was also beef and mutton that Lin Yu was obsessed with. Then the 3 of them started buying and selling, including rice, noodles, oil, salt, seasonings, and various ingredients. Lin Yu saw the barbecue grill, bamboo skewers, barbecue charcoal, etc., and bought them all. At noon, the 3 of them ate the local specialty, mutton soup steamed buns, at a restaurant near the market, but they had to pinch the buns themselves. Lin Yu broke the buns 3 times, 5 by 2, and was about to be processed by the boss. The boss directly told him that he couldn't break the buns well because they were too big and needed to be broken again. Lin Yu was also helpless, so he returned to his seat and broke it off again, which was a sign of respect for local food. While breaking the buns, Yi Susan looked at Lin Yu opposite, and said with a smile, Lin Yu, after breaking off this bowl of buns, my fingernails are much cleaner. Come on, Aunt Yi, please stop talking. It affects your appetite. After breaking the buns for half an hour and eating for 5 minutes, the 3 of them returned home on the 29th floor after lunch. Lin Yu took out a storage bag and handed it to Yi Susan. This is what I bought today, packed in 3 storage bags. Yes, keep 1 bag for yourself and 1 bag for your family. After Yi Susan took the storage bag, Lin Xiaotao pulled Lin Yu back to her room and closed the door, and then the 2 snuggled together and took a nap. At almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Yu left here and returned to his home. Chen Jing was playing with her mobile phone on the sofa. Lin Yu took out a storage bag and handed one to Chen Jing, then went to the kitchen and took out a piece of mutton, cut it into large pieces, put it in a basin and added various seasonings to marinate it for a while. After washing his hands, he came to Chen Jing sit down next to Jing. Xiao Yu, now we don't have to buy ingredients for many years. If you have space to install more, don't worry if you buy more. Where is Wenwen? Go next door. I see that the woman named Zhao who bought us a house last time is also next door. Lin Yu heard that Zhao Qingdi was also here, so he called her directly, and the call was quickly connected. Leader, I'm Xiao Zhao. Do you have any instructions? Xiao Zhao, come work in the yard next door later, and I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Boss, can I bring someone with me for lunch? That's okay. Then even the freeloaders have to work. Half an hour later, Chen Jing, Chen Wenwen, Zhao Qingdi, and Su Moyue were sitting at the dining table skewering mutton skewers, while Lin Yu was cleaning a basin of oysters in the yard. After cleaning the oysters, Lin Yu set up a barbecue in the yard, and then called Tang Yanren and asked her to come over for dinner. Tang Yanren thought about it and agreed. The charcoal fire rose, Chen Wenwen skewered the meat skewers and sent them out. Lin Yu transformed into Uncle Meimei and started grilling the mutton skewers. At this time, Tang Yanren also rode over on a small electric donkey, and Lin Yu's first mutton skewers came out of the oven. He handed her a few mutton skewers and put the rest into the space to keep warm. Half an hour later, Lin Yu took out a dining table from the space and placed it in the middle of the yard. This dining table was bought by Jinling City. Then the dining table was filled with skewers and grilled oysters, as well as 2 plates of cut fruits, and then they started eating. Su Moyue took a mutton skewer and tasted it. It tasted really good but a little spicy. Lin Yu, don't you think there is something missing on the table? This is a little spicy. Lin Yu naturally knew what was missing on the table. He took the big basin where the oysters had just been washed, put a basin of water in it, then took out some beer and drinks, replaced it with the skull of the mutated skeleton king, and directly iced the water in the big basin. Who wants a beer? Who wants a drink? Get it yourself. In fact, except for Chen Wenwen, everyone else chose cold beer. Beer and barbecue are a perfect match. Su Moyue took a bite of barbecued skewers, drank a sip of cold beer, and shouted, "The taste is right this time, Lin Yu, let's go one by one." An hour later, it was completely dark and the lights were on in the yard. By this time, they had finished eating the skewers and drank all the beer. There were only a pile of bamboo sticks and oyster shells left on the table, and a pile of wine bottles on the ground. One by one, they sat on the stools and didn't want to move. Lin Yu took out a storage bag and put all the garbage in it, and then poured everyone a cup of hot tea to relieve their tiredness. Su Muyu took a sip of tea and said, "I haven't eaten so wantonly for a long time. Thank you Lin Yu for your hospitality." Then she saw Zhao Qingdi again. "Sister Butterfly, please stay at my place tonight." Zhao Qingdi nodded. "That's fine." Zhao Qingdi and Su Moyue went back to the next door. Lin Yu looked at Tang Yanren. "Yanren, you can stay with me tonight. There is an empty room upstairs." Tang Yanren shook her head. "No, I'll go back to school." Tang Yanren didn't want to live here, so Lin Yu sent her back to school. After staying with her for half an hour, he returned home. After he came out of the shower, Chen Jing sat on his bed in her pajamas. Middle. "Xiao Yu, are you going to go on an adventure in the secret realm tomorrow?" Lin Yu nodded. "Yeah. The minimum entry level to this secret realm is level 5. Can I take you with me?" "Oh, it doesn't matter whether I go or not, I don't like to practice or fight." Lin Yu came to lie down next to her, then took her into his arms, thought for a while and said, "I will take you to the secret realm. Naturally, you will not have to fight. I will just take you to play and see what the world in the secret realm is like." "What does it look like?" Chen Jing hummed and found a comfortable position in his arms to fall asleep. In the East Palace of Daxia Imperial City, Shouhansheng handed a stack of photos to Yin Zuiyan. "Prince, according to the investigation by my subordinates, Zhang Feiyang is usually tolerant and has not offended anyone. The only thing he offended was that 4 years ago, he coveted a piece of his teammate's soul bone and cut off his right arm. This teammate he was a talented student from Jingcheng College. Due to the great power of the Zhang family, the matter fell into disuse." Quote. Yin Zuiyan held a photo of Tang Yanren in his hand. The right arm of Tang Yanren in the photo was indeed a mechanical prosthesis. Then what? Then the day before yesterday, this woman returned to Jingcheng College from Jinling, and with her came 2 freshmen from Jingcheng College this year, and this is one of the boys. Under the guidance of Thin Soul Saint, Yin Zuiyan quickly turned to Lin Yu's photo. When Yin Zuiyan saw Lin Yu's photo, he felt an inexplicable pain in his chest. "What's his name?" "Prince, his name is Lin Yu. He was a student of Jinling No. 1 middle school. His parents died and he lives with his aunt." Yin Zuiyan turned to the photo of Chen Jing, but there was nothing there. Then he put it on the photo of Chen Wenwen, and he stood up directly. "What's the name of the girl in this photo?" Back to the prince. "Her name is Chen Wenwen. She is the daughter of Aunt Lin Yu. She should be 15 years old this year." Yin Zuiyan immediately went outside and shouted, "Someone, go and call Lulu." Soon after, the woman who went to Magic City with Yin Zuiyan came over. Yin Zuiyan directly handed the photo of Lin Yu's family of 3 to the woman named Lulu. Lulu first took a look at Lin Yu's photo. "Prince, this person's eyes look like the person we met in Magic City." "Well, look at the back." Lulu was also surprised when she saw Chen Wenwen's photo. Then she grabbed Yin Zuiyan's arm and said excitedly, "Prince, I just said that I saw it right last time. She is the princess's child. There she is, let's go find her." "She." The Thin Soul Saint on the side said quickly, "Lulu, calm down, this Chen Wenwen is the daughter of the princess, but don't forget the guy next to her. This guy should have done what happened to Zhang Feiyang the night before yesterday. Then I'll tell the princess to go now." Early the next morning, after Lin Yu and Chen Jing went to the life space to complete their daily tasks, Lin Yu appeared in Tang Yanren's room. Tang Yanren was still sleeping, so Lin Yu went up and kissed her. "Well, Lin Yu, what time is it? It's already 7:30. Do you want to get up?" Tang Yanren nodded, sat up, turned around and went to the bathroom to wash up. Soon after, the two of them returned to Lin Yu's home on their motorcycles. Zhao Qingdi and Su Moyue next door were also standing in the yard at this time. Yu invited them to come over and eat some together. In the morning, it was fried dumplings and white rice porridge. The six of them sat in the restaurant and started eating. Lin Yu was surprised that Chen Wenwen, the lazy sleeper, also got up. Wenwen, why did you get up so early today? Hee. I'm curious about how the secret realm is opened, so I got up early to take a look. After eating breakfast, Lin Yu took out the key to the title secret realm and looked at the three of them. After the secret realm portal is opened, will it always exist, or will it disappear immediately? Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, under normal circumstances, it will always exist until we come out. Of course, it does not rule out disappearing directly. Come on, in this case, let's just find a safe place. Lin Yu took them to the unoccupied room on the second floor, and then injected soul power into the token. With the continuous input of soul power, light shot out of the soul token for a moment, forming a portal in the middle of the room. In the secret realm of tides, Lin Yu looked at the surrounding environment. They seemed to appear on a hillside. Not far ahead was a shallow bay beach. The portal behind them had not disappeared. Lin Yu climbed to the top of the hillside and looked around. They were on an island. The island was in the shape of a horseshoe. There was a purple light shield at the shallows in the center of the island. There were 4 purple energy lines around it, connecting the energy shields. One of the energy lines was not far from their location. Lin Yu fell from the tree, and the other 3 people looked over. Su Moyue asked curiously, Lin Yu, did you see any monsters? I saw monsters like Danaga, which were probably around 6 or 7 levels, and some wild marine creatures. There was also a defensive shield on the beach. Lin Yu told what he saw, and Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, I guess we have to cut off the energy supply in 4 places before we can see what's inside the defensive shield. Lin Yu then took out the life scepter and called the 3 of them to set off. Okay. Let's go. I'll watch your performance. I'll give you treatment assistance. As a result, the 3 of them looked at Lin Yu motionless, and Lin Yu was helpless. Let's go. What are you looking at me for? Zhao Qingdi shook his head and said, we are not defensive soul masters, and we cannot withstand the attacks of any monsters in the secret realm. The 4th soul ring on Lin Yu's body lit up, and he cast a thorn shield on the 3 of them. The 3 of them felt the shield on their bodies and started to move forward. Su Muyu walked in the front. After all, she was the only one who was a close combat soul master. Soon the 4 of them came to a camp and saw a group of male Nagas guarding several female Nagas. The female Nagas were surrounding a magic circle to input their soul power. There was a purple rhombus crystal above the magic circle, and the purple crystal emanated from it. The energy went towards the purple defense cover on the beach. Su Moyue appeared behind a male Naga in a flash and grabbed him on the back of the neck. The male Naga felt danger and was about to fight back. A bow and arrow hit him, and it suddenly felt dizzy. Then Su Moyue used claws pierced directly through his neck. Seeing the death of their companions, the guarding Nagas became commotion. A nearby Naga stabbed Su Moyue with a fork, but was blocked by the thorn shield. The Naga flew backwards, triggering rebound damage. Tang Yanren, who was standing next to Lin Yu, also took action. A green powder cloud enveloped all the Naga present. When their skin came into contact with the powder, they began to fester rapidly, and then a wind blade appeared and cut off one of the Naga. Ka's head. 10 minutes later, all the Nagas in the camp were wiped out by 3 people. The 3 went to absorb the soul rings. Lin Yu looked at the purple crystal that had lost its energy and fell. He picked it up and took a look. Tidal Energy Crystal. A specialty product in the deep sea of another world. It contains a large amount of water element power and can be used as an energy crystal. Lin Yu decisively put away the energy crystal, which was the size of a child's school bag, and then looked at the magic array pattern on the ground. Sea Clan Spirit Gathering Magic Array. It can condense the free spiritual energy between heaven and earth. The formation was analyzed very clearly by his golden eyes. He was afraid that he would be too stupid to remember it, so he took out his mobile phone and took a picture of the complete formation pattern. Su Moyue asked curiously, Lin Yu, what are you doing? Nothing. It looks fun. After Lin Yu put these away, he searched around the camp and found a few boxes of dried fish and the like, nothing valuable, and immediately set off with them. Soon after, Lin Yu called them to stop. In their puzzled eyes, Lin Yu picked 4 kiwi-sized yellow fruits from a fruit tree nearby. Windflower fruit, a rare fruit that usually only appears on some small islands in the ocean. It is extremely delicious. Lin Yu ate one. It tasted pretty good, and the texture was close to that of cherries, but the core inside was about the same size as an apricot core. Lin Yu put away the windflower core and gave the rest to the 3 of them to taste. Su Moyue tasted the funghua fruit and then said, "This yellow fruit is quite delicious. Isn't it poisonous?" Tang Yanren on the side smiled and said, "It's okay if it's poisonous. Lin Yu's 3rd soul skill is detoxification. Let's go." More than an hour later, the tidal energy crystals in the 4th camp were put away by Lin Yu, but the purple defensive cover on the beach did not disappear, and the 4 of them walked towards the shallows of the bay. Tang Yanren pointed to a huge crab in a shallow puddle not far away, and pulled Lin Yu aside. "Lin Yu, look, there is a big crab there. Can you take that crab back and eat it?" Lin Yu followed the direction of Tang Yanren's finger, glanced at the crab, and nodded. "It's indeed edible." Then Lin Yu ran over and caught the big crab. Then he found seafood such as big lobsters in the water. These things can't be bought with money. Lin Yu ignored the purple mask and started happily catching up with Tang Yanren. Su Moyue pulled Zhao Qingdi aside. "Sister Butterfly, is this Lin Yu serious? Is it appropriate to venture into a secret place to catch seafood?" Zhao Qingdi smiled and said, "Yu, have you ever thought about the possibility that the harvest in the secret realm may not be as attractive to him as these seafoods? If you want him to do business, you might as well help him catch one. When he has nothing to do with arresting him, he will get up and get down to business." After Zhao Qingdi finished speaking, he joined the team to catch seafood. Then he caught a long sea fish and shouted to Lin Yu, "Lin Yu, can this fish be eaten?" Lin Yu looked up and shouted, "That's an eel, it's edible. Put everything aside, and I'll see if it can be eaten later." Okay. Su Moyue saw that Zhao Qingdi also started to join the team to catch the sea, and she reluctantly went to help pick up seafood. "Come and take a look. I found a huge scallop. It's too big." Su Moyue's shout attracted the attention of several people, and they all gathered around. Lin Yu took a look. This was a deep water area. There was a huge clam at the bottom of the water, which was as big as a small house, and I don't know how it ended up in the deep puddles in the shallows. Deep sea spirit Tridacna. In fact, it was originally an ordinary clam, washed here by the rising tide. Because these Nagas use tidal crystals to practice here, the power of the tidal energy escapes, allowing it to grow rapidly and even be born. A hint of wisdom. Its body also contains an unformed tidal soul bead. The formed tidal soul bead has the power to control the sea. When Lin Yu saw this, he decisively poured out the fresh water in the life space pond, then refilled it with seawater, and moved the giant clam to the deepest part of the pond. Then he collected some stones, seaweed, and even shrimps and crabs. Fish, simulating a small marine environment. Tang Yanren looked at Lin Yu, who was still catching shrimps and crabs, and reminded him, "Lin Yu, it's already 1:30 in the afternoon." Only then did Lin Yu remember the business. He came to the purple energy shield, reached out and touched the energy shield. It seemed to be solid, and he tapped it with his hand. Dong dong dong. Lin Yu stared at the sound. A hammer appeared in his hand, and struck the purple defensive cover with one hammer. Click. The rain cover cracked like a glass cover. At this moment, a majestic female voice sounded in everyone's ears. "How outrageous, you interrupted the magic ceremony and dared to disturb me. It's really unforgivable. Welcome. Wrath of the sea. Wrath of the sea." A turbulent sea water burst out from around her. Lin Yu flashed near Tang Yanren and pulled her to the heights of the coastline. Then when he tried to pull Zhao Qingdi and Su Moyue, it was already too late. At this time, the sea water it had completely surged over, and the 3 of them were knocked away by the waves. When they climbed out of the water, they were already soaked in water. Storm. Lightning. Lin Yu looked at the dark clouds and lightning gathering in the sky, and knew what the monster on the opposite side wanted to do. He first used sea water to wet his friends, and then attacked with thunder and lightning. They could not dodge at all. Lin Yu shouted to Tang Yanren, "Mount." Lin Yu appeared near the portal with Zhao Qingdi and Su Moyue in his hands, and threw them directly in. When Zhao Qingdi and Su Moyue got up from the ground, they looked at their surroundings and saw that it was indeed Lin Yu's room. At this moment, Chen Jing, who heard the noise, came over. "Hey, why are you two the only ones out? Where are Xiao Yu and Teacher Tang?" Zhao Qingdi explained. "We met a powerful monster. Lin Yu threw it out for us. They should come out soon." In the secret realm, a lightning bolt as thick as a bucket fell down and struck the sea water. The entire bay was filled with lightning. All the fish on the seabed floated up from the bottom of the water in an instant, and some weeds and trees on the shore also instantly withered. Tang Yanren rode on the ghost army horse and looked at Lin Yu waving his wings. With such a terrifying attack ability, this enemy may have reached the 10th level. Lin Yu thought for a while and said, "It is unlikely that a 10th level monster will appear in this small secret realm. Let's go and have a look." After all, the final boss of a dungeon of more than 50 people is a leader of more than 100 people, which is really weird no matter how you think about it. Lin Yu and Tang Yanren flew over together before looking at the monster that Qing was attacking them. A female Naga has a human upper body, but has 6 arms, one of which holds a blue staff. She is not wearing clothes, but a pair of shells, covering her private parts and body parts. The lower part is entirely a scaly snake tail. Lin Yu used his golden eyes to see what was going on with the monster. Name: Jiskia. Age: 7,832 years. Race: Naga, Storm Demigod. Level: Level 100. Soul Skills: Ball Lightning, Tidal Spear, Spell Flash, Soul Awakening, Water Curtain Clone, Tidal Shield, Ocean Fury, Storm Lightning, Water Dragon Roar, Tornado Storm. 5,000 years ago, the young Jiskia was sent to a bay to guard the Eye of the Storm by the leader of the tribe. Since the Eye of the Storm was often attacked by foreign tribes, Jiskia, who had liked to think independently since she was a child, unwilling to be a pawn of fate, she decided to absorb the power of the storm in the Eye of the Storm to strengthen herself. It seemed that fate had favored her. No foreign enemies had invaded here in 5,000 years. Her strength has grown to a level that countless people cannot reach in their lifetime. Hi. Close tortoise shell bracket. Lin Yu found it very strange that Jiskia's level was no longer tens of thousands of years old, but was marked as 100, and she had 10 soul skills. The storm demigod was talking about her level of strength. Take the move. Tidal Spear. Countless seawater gathered around Jizia and formed spears, which shot towards the two of them. Lin Yu stood in front of Tang Yanren and held up a shield of thorns. Ding ding ding. While Lin Yu was resisting the tidal spear, Tang Yanren also summoned the Imperial Knights. Countless Death Knights rushed towards Jiskia. A water shield rose up on Jiskia to block the attacks of these Death Knights. Tornado Storm. 3 tornadoes blew up around Jiskia, and all the surrounding Death Knights were swept in by the tornado. In the face of absolute strength, numbers are really useless. Lin Yu looked a little miserable now. His thorn shield couldn't withstand Jiskia's tidal spear, and his body was riddled with holes. Fortunately, his torso bones had the ability to quickly repair. When Tang Yanren saw this scene, she turned around and left. She knew that she would only hold Lin Yu back here, otherwise Lin Yu wouldn't have been able to carry those tidal spears just now. Eat one of my lightning bolts. A lightning ball flew towards Lin Yu. Lin Yu dodged and appeared behind Jizia. He slashed her tidal shield with a knife. The knife cut across the water easily and turned up a piece. The splash and shield were not damaged at all, but Jiskia in front of him disappeared and appeared behind Lin Yu. Water is invisible, but it is pervasive, and it is indestructible. The water dragon roars. Jiskia's voice sounded behind him. He looked back and saw 7 or 8 water dragons flying towards him. Lin Yu could only keep flashing. Bang bang bang. The entire bay was riddled with holes by the water dragon. Lin Yu took out the god-killing gun, raised the 6th soul ring on his body, used rapid fire, and fired several shots at Jiskia. Ha ha, there are countless me's here, and each one is the real me. How should you deal with it? Jiskia's figure flashed, and countless clones appeared around her, all over the bay. Each clone was rubbing ball lightning at Lin Yu. Tang Yanren, who was at the teleportation door, saw that there were so many clones of Jizia, and felt that this move was incomprehensible. Lin Yu's scalp was also numb. Although his golden eyes were able to find the original body later, there were too many. The time it took for him to turn around was enough for them to explode. She randomly flew into the sky and shot directly at the clones. This time she used split ice bullets. He added all the remaining 500,000 freedom points to the ice elemental soul ring. Bang 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 bang. Although this soul ring is only 500,000 years old and can only split secondary bullets more than 200 times, it is enough to fire more shots. Lin Yu fired while dodging lightning attacks. After dozens of shots, the entire bay was completely frozen. Jiskia's clones were all frozen, and the god-killing Barrett in Lin Yu's hand turned into the god-killing Gatling, with all 7 soul rings on his body lighting up. Da da da. Lin Yu carried Gatling and started shooting at the countless Jiskia clones around him. After more than 10 minutes, there was no one standing around. The clones of Jiskia also turned into seawater one by one. Lin Yu appeared in front of Jiskia, the only one who did not turn into seawater. Her body was also torn into holes by Gatling. How is this possible? Why did I lose? Ah, please forgive me, Queen. After Jiskia finished speaking, she lost her breath. Tang Yanran flew back at this time, landed next to Lin Yu, took out the soul ring extractor and began to extract Jiskia's soul ring. Dang, ding. As Jiskia's body disappeared, her staff fell down, along with a blue ring. Tide Staff. Level. Artifact. Soul Skills. Ocean Fury, Thunder and Lightning Storm, Water Dragon Roar, Tornado Storm. The weapon of Naga demigod Jiskia during her lifetime. After she absorbed the energy of the Eye of the Storm, this weapon also became a divine weapon as her strength increased. Close Tortoise Shell Bracket. Ring of Tides. Contains a certain amount of storage space, which can be teleported to Naga's city, Throne of Tides, after use. Lin Yu put away 2 things, and Tang Yanran handed over a purple soul ring and a skull. After Lin Yu took it, he asked a question that had been waiting in his mind for a long time. Yanran, you said that the soul ring extractor can extract soul rings from humanoid creatures. Can it also extract soul rings from soul masters? Tang Yanran smiled and said, no. The designer of the soul ring extractor considered this issue when designing the soul ring. He added human genetic code to the soul ring extractor so that the human body would not be compressed and extracted. Quote. Then Lin Yu and Tang Yanran took a look. The place where Jiskia absorbed the power of the storm before was only a large tidal spirit gathering array. They didn't find anything special about where Jiskia absorbed the power of the storm. Tang Yanran patted him on the shoulder, and then pointed to the sky. Lin Yu looked up at the sky. The dark clouds in the sky were still there, and the dark clouds were in a spiral shape. Directly above him was the center of the dark clouds, and there was a hollow existence. It seems that this is the Eye of the Storm. Lin Yu took out the storage bag containing garbage and poured out everything inside, including Zhang Feiyang's body and cars. Let's go out. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he picked up Tang Yanran and flew directly to the portal entrance. The two walked in and appeared on the 2nd floor of their home. After they came out of the portal also closed. When they saw Lin Yu and Tang Yanran coming out, they went downstairs. Lin Yu took out a few large lobsters, let Chen Jing steam them for a while, then sat on the sofa in the living room and began to distribute the spoils. In fact, the loot only included some soul rings. There were more than 60 soul rings in total, and only 18 of them were truly valuable. Lin Yu put aside the worthless soul rings and divided the 18 soul rings into 3 parts. There are 18 soul rings in total, 6 for each of the 3 of you. I want those 4 tidal energy crystals. Quote. Su Moyue looked at Lin Yu and said with a smile, you provided the key to the secret realm. If you don't need all the soul rings, give them to us. You must know that these 6th level soul rings cost hundreds of millions. Lin Yu said with a smile, you can still kill those monsters. Okay, just take it if it's given to you. Okay, it seems that you are good enough for these 3 melons and 2 dates. Thank you so much, Junior. The 3 people put away the 6 soul rings, and then went to the yard to count the seafood. Lin Yu gave them some science knowledge. The more beautiful things are, the less edible they are. Even if some things are edible, they are very troublesome to handle. They can't all press after disposing of the food. Give each of them a storage bag, and let them put away what they picked up. At this time, the big lobster was also cooked, and a few people returned to the restaurant to start eating. The fresh shrimps are the original and sweet, and of course the taste can also be eaten with dipping sauces. Wenwen, I'll give you a shrimp tail. Thank you, brother. Lin Yu peeled off a large shrimp tail and handed it to Chen Wenwen, who was aside. She and Chen Jing didn't eat at noon. After all, they didn't know when Lin Yu and the others would come out. After eating, it was already 3 o'clock. Su Moyue and Zhao Qingdi left their home and went back to the next door. Tang Yanren did not let Lin Yu see her off. After returning the storage bag with seafood to him, he left on a small electric donkey. Lin Yu and Chen Jing came to the life space. They came to the pond. Chen Jing looked at the seafood in the pond curiously. Xiao Yu, if you fill this place with seawater, will the surrounding area turn into a salt-alkali land? Probably not. After all, the plants here are all spawned by my soul power, but the vegetable fields cannot be watered with this water, and the water for these chickens needs to be redrained. Lin Yu dug another pond in the orchard to store fresh water for the chickens to drink and for the vegetable plot. Then he planted 4 fenghua fruit seeds around the pond, which then promoted the flowering state, and left the rest to the bees. Just deal with it and come back tomorrow and the day after tomorrow to ripen it. Xiao Yu, what is this? I have never seen this kind of flower before, the flower is quite big. This is the wind flower fruit, which is a specialty of the title's secret realm. Let's try this fruit again tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. After Lin Yu made sure that there was nothing going on in the space, he and Chen Jing went back outside. Chen Jing went to prepare the ingredients for the evening, while he returned to his room to check today's harvest. The first is the title ring. After opening it, the internal space is about the same size as an ordinary storage ring. There are not many things in the space, only tens of thousands of soul gold coins. It seems that Jiskia's previous status in the Sea Clan is not too big. Hi, but he found some more deep-sea soul beads, more than 100 of them, which was an unexpected surprise, and he could process some jewelry. Lin Yu put away the tied ring. After all, he already had 2 rings on his left hand, and the quality of the tied ring was obviously lower than the ring of life and the prince's ring. These 2 rings are still locked, and then he took them out. Jiskia's soul ring and soul bone. Jiskia's soul ring, quality, God level, soul skills, title spear, spell flash, water curtain clone, ball lightning. Jizia's unyielding soul resides in this soul ring. To absorb this soul ring, you need to face the impact of Jizia's soul. Danger and opportunity go hand in hand. If you successfully absorb this soul ring, you will obtain her 6 arms. Externally attached soul bone. Jiskia's head soul bone, quality, God level, soul skills, underwater breathing, Naga transformation, title shield, spell awakening. The soul rings and soul bones of the 4 soul skills seem to be worse than the previous 200,000-year-old mutated soul bones. The mixed soul ring and soul bones do not show the age, but are directly of God level quality, and there are also external soul bones. An extra pair of hands would definitely come in handy. After Lin Yu put away these things, he said hello to Chen Jing and then rode to find Tang Yanren. When he arrived at Tang Yanren's apartment, he saw Tang Yanren lying on the massage chair. Tang Yanren was also very surprised when she saw Lin Yu coming over. Why are you still here at this point? I want to accompany you. Lin Yu found a place to sit down, then took out the blue staff and handed it to Tang Yanren. After Tang Yanren took it, she felt the powerful power on the staff. What's the word for this staff? It feels like it should be quite powerful. This is the tied staff. It is the weapon of the Naga leader today. I guess it is the materialization of her martial soul. It has reached the level of an artifact and comes with 4 soul skills: Fury of the Ocean, Thunder and Lightning Storm, Roar of the Water Dragon, and Tornado. Violent. After Tang Yanren played with it for a while, she gave it back to Lin Yu. Lin Yu was a little confused. Don't you want it? Tang Yanren sat up from the massage chair, came to sit on his lap, hooked her arms around his neck and said, I am also a biological martial soul, and I am not very interested in these weapons. Besides, I am now level 80. I think I can reach level 100 one day. Lin Yu hugged her directly and said in his ear, there will be a day, it's not too far away. Then Lin Yu talked about the purple soul ring, and Tang Yanren was a little surprised to hear that there was an attached soul bone. Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, the 6 arms will definitely be more effective if used by a melee soul master, but they appear on elemental soul rings. They will be used as my 9th soul ring then. As for the soul impact, I think you should be able to solve this problem when I reach the 9th level. Then Lin Yu talked about the issue of head soul bones, explaining the 4 skills of God-level soul bones, as well as the head soul bones and torso bones of the Forest Deer King that Lin Yu originally prepared for her. Tang Yanran thought for a while and said, I'd better use the soul bone of the Forest Deer King. It feels more practical than the transformed Naga. Lin Yu nodded, then lay on the sofa, and the 2 of them cuddled together. It was getting dark. The 2 of them did not go to the canteen to eat today. Instead, Lin Yu took an induction cooker and cooked a pot of seafood in Tang Yanran's apartment. The 2 had a simple meal. After breakfast the next day, Lin Yu left the college. He did not rush home, but came to the Jingcheng Shefu community. He did not go to find Taozi today, but came according to the record on the key and came to building 19. In front of room 2202. Looking at the code lock on the door, Lin Yu directly entered 123,456 hash, opened the door, and walked in to take a look. The 90 square meter 2-bedroom apartment was not bad. The room was very clean and fully furnished. Lin Yu changed the password to a new one, then put quilts on the 2 beds, placed luminous grass in each room, took a few pictures and sent them to Lu Yani. If he was not satisfied, he would go to the hotel. Lu Yani quickly received a reply. She preferred a private environment to a hotel. Lin Yu learned that Lu Ning was not next to Lu Yani. Then she sent Lu Ning a few more pictures, and Lu Ning directly sent him a smiley face in reply. Seeing that there was nothing going on here, Lin Yu returned to his home in Shushan County and stayed at home for a day. In the afternoon, Chen Jing cooked a large bucket of mutton soup at home. Lin Yu felt that this pure mutton soup with some vermicelli or something was more delicious than steamed buns. In the evening, the 4 of them ate mutton soup and sesame cakes. The sesame cakes were specially bought by Lin Yu. Why were the 4 of them, the cheeky Su Moyue next door, here to share the meal? It's not appropriate to say that it's not appropriate to have a meal, but when Chen Wenwen was playing at her house, Chen Jing asked Chen Wenwen to eat something with her, so she came right over. Su Moyue, you and Lin Moxu have the same hair color, why aren't you the Lin family ice phoenix spirit? Su Moyue, who was engrossed in eating, raised her head and glanced at Lin Yu, then said, I inherited my father's martial spirit, the ghost civet cat. I did not inherit the Lin family's martial spirit. The key is that my mother is not the ice phoenix martial spirit. The Lin family's ice phoenix awakening probability not high. Lin Yu thought for a moment and asked, oh, does that mean that Lin Moxu may inherit the Lin family business? What are you thinking about? How can Lin Moxu inherit the position of head of the family, even if she awakens the ice phoenix spirit? After all, she is a girl, and my uncle will never allow the family fortune to fall by the wayside. That means your uncle should have other illegitimate children. It's not considered an illegitimate child. He does have several aunts and wives in the Lin family's ancestral home, as well as other children. The community where you sold fruit before was just the residence of Lin Moxu and her mother. My aunt is too strong. She can't accept it. I lived under the same roof as my uncle and other women, so I moved out with Lin Moxu from the Lin family's ancestral home, and my uncle would go there every weekend to accompany Lin Moxu. Lin Yu also knew that it was normal for people from big families to marry concubines. Not to mention this blue star, it was the same in the previous life. Monogamy was a joke to big families. They had the ability to marry several wives and keep them in harmony, get along. Lin Yu then asked, does this mean that the relationship between your aunt and your uncle is probably in name only? Su Moyue thought for a while, nodded and said, maybe. My aunt is actually quite good, but she is too strong, and she doesn't get along well with the people in the ancestral home. What if, forget it. I'd better not say anything. Come on. Lin Yu also heard what she meant. Hua Kaiwei is also the nominal wife of the Lin family. If Lin Yadong's other sons awaken the Ice Phoenix bloodline and become the heirs of the family head, then her nominal wife may also have to retreat behind the scenes. After dinner, Su Moyue accompanied the 3 of them and walked around the community in Shushan County. She said that most of the people living in this community were students and parents of the college. Almost all of the communities nearby it serves the college. Every year, many freshmen buy houses and move in. There are also graduates who sell their houses and leave. When Lin Yu and Chen Jing came out of the life space the next day, he received a message from Lu Ning that they had set off. Lin Yu said that he would pick them up on time. Seeing that nothing happened in the morning, Lin Yu decided to go find Hua Kaiwei. He said hello to Chen Jing and went out. Soon after, he appeared in Hua Kaiwei's office. Hua Kaiwei was also very surprised when she saw Lin Yu appear. Hey! Lin Yu, didn't you go to the capital? Lin Yu said with a smile. Don't you miss your sister too much and come back? Hua Kaiwei was also happy. You can make me happy. Afterwards, Hua Kaiwei explained a few words to her subordinates, and then she and Lin Yu came to the life space. The two stayed in the room on the first floor for an hour. Then Hua Kaiwei took a bath, changed into home clothes, and went to the living space again. Walking around in the space, after all, the look here is different from the last time she came here. Lin Yu, you replace the fresh water in the pond with sea water. Yes, have you seen that big clam? There is a tidal plant in its body, and this pond can be regarded as serving it. Okay, even weird things are normal to you. What should we eat for lunch? That being said, you can do whatever you want, as long as what I have is mostly seafood, vegetables, and some meat. At noon, Lin Yu steamed a sea crab and made oysters in a sauce. Hua Kaiwei thought they tasted pretty good. After lunch, the two of them went to take a lunch break. At around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Hua Kaiwei went to wash them again. I took a bath and washed my head. When Lin Yu was combing her hair, he saw that she didn't have a necklace on her neck, so he took out the set of deep sea soul bead necklaces and earrings and put them on her. Lin Yu, what kind of pearl necklace is this? When you wear it, your mind becomes clearer. This is the necklace I made using deep sea soul beads. Hua Kaiwei turned around and looked at Lin Yu. Lin Yu, can I give this to Mo Shui? Lin Yu shook his head. Girls like them don't like pearl necklaces. They think they are too old-fashioned. I still have some deep sea soul beads on me. I will give you a bracelet later. Well, Lin Yu, you are so kind. After Lin Yu sent Hua Kaiwei back to Jinling, he drove his car to the exit of the Beijing railway station. Soon after, he saw Lu Ning and Lu Yani coming out of the exit. Lin Yu waved to them and then walked over. Lu Ning. Aunt Lu. Lu Yani smiled and said, Lin Yu. I'm sorry to bother you. Lin Yu waved his hand and said, Aunt Lu said something serious, why is this so troublesome? After greeting them in the car, Lin Yu drove them to the Shefu community in Jingcheng. The three of them took the elevator to the door of room 2202 and entered the password to open the door. Lu Yani and Lu Ning took a look inside the room and were still very satisfied. Lu Ning chose the small bedroom and left the master bedroom to Lu Yani. The three of them rested for a while, and then Lin Yu accompanied them to go shopping. The prosperity of the capital was far beyond what Jinling could match. When they came to the bustling commercial street, Lin Yu also accompanied them to buy some clothes. After all, they but I planned to live in Beijing for a while. Lu Yani changed her clothes and came to Lin Yu. Lin Yu, what do you think of this dress? Lin Yu said with a smile, Aunt Lu is beautiful and looks good in anything she wears. Lu Yani smiled and said, hee, you really know how to talk. After a while, Lu Ning came out wearing a new set of clothes and showed Lin Yu that in fact, both mother and daughter were extremely beautiful, and the clothes were just the icing on the cake. Lin Yu shouted to the boss, Boss, I want all the clothes that fit their sizes. As soon as the boss heard that he was a wealthy customer, he immediately sent out waiters to look for clothes. In fact, there were not many clothes suitable for the two of them. They had capital that others did not have. The smaller clothes were too crowded, and the larger ones looked too fat. Soon the store owner and the waiters came over with packages one by one and put them in two small piles. After taking out the calculator and crackling for a while, Lin Yu happily paid and asked them to put it away. Later, at the underwear store, they didn't even try them on. Lu Yani directly reported 2 models, and Lin Yu packaged them for purchase again. The three of them walked out of the underwear store, and Lu Yani said with a smile, Ha! Lin Yu, you look like a nouveau riche with that wave of your hand that says you want everything. Lin Yu waved his hand and said with a smile, Ha! Aunt Lu, I am the nouveau riche. Then Lin Yu saw a jewelry store. Lin Yu greeted the two of them and walked into the jewelry processing department. Master, I want to process some jewelry. Is the boss here? The master waved to the inside, and a middle-aged man came over. The master said, Boss and the others want to process jewelry. The boss smiled at Lin Yu and the others and said, Guests, how can I help you? Lin Yu took out a box of deep-sea soul beads and put them on the counter in front. Boss, process these into 3 necklaces and 3 pairs of earrings for me, and make the rest into bracelets. The boss took out a pearl and looked at it, then showed a surprised look and asked quickly, Guest, is this a deep-sea soul pearl? Lin Yu said with a smile, the boss is very knowledgeable. We don't have too many requirements. According to your professional aesthetics, use the best materials to help me process it. Now make it for me. I will go to eat first and finish the meal. Come and get it later. The owner of the jewelry store smiled and said, Guest, are you afraid that I will take these things away? These things can be purchased in several shops like mine. Lin Yu smiled and replied, Then you'd better find 10 or 8 soul saints to protect you. If there are too few, it's worth my action. Let's go. Lin Yu called them out and found a restaurant that looked quite high-end. After Lin Yu finished ordering, Lu Ning couldn't help but ask, Lin Yu, what is the deep-sea soul pearl? Special pearls in the ocean, worn on the body, have the effect of increasing the speed of cultivation. Lu Ning asked a little uncertainly, Then the pearl necklace you wanted to give me before was also a deep-sea soul pearl. Lin Yu smiled, What do you think? You don't like it anyway. Besides, young people are really not suitable for wearing pearl jewelry. Now Lu Ning felt that he had missed hundreds of millions. No wonder his mother was very angry that day. He was such a fool. He had already said that he didn't like pearls, and he had no shame to continue asking Lin Yu for them. Lin Yu felt that Lu Ning was depressed and did not comfort her. Instead, he talked and laughed with Lu Yani on the side. Soon after, dinner was served, and the 3 of them started eating. After taking a few bites, Lu Ning felt much better. After dinner, the sky turned completely dark, and the pedestrian street was brightly lit. The 3 of them did not rush to the jewelry store, but continued shopping outside. Lin Yu, why don't we go to a jewelry store? Facing Lu Ning's question, Lin Yu touched her head, they need time to process. It's just right for us to go shopping and come back. 2 hours later, the 3 of them returned to the previous jewelry store. The boss personally greeted them, took them to the living room, and invited them to sit down. Soon someone brought a bunch of boxes, which the boss opened. Guests, please take a look. Lin Yu looked at the 3 necklaces, 3 pairs of earrings and 8 bracelets, and determined that there were no problems. The workmanship was also very fine, no less than those made by the Magic City jewelry store. Lin Yu smiled and said, Boss, don't you have anything to say? After tidying up, the boss looked embarrassed, then took out another deep-sea soul bead and said with a smile, Guest, I saw that this deep-sea soul bead was of similar quality, so I picked it out. Lin Yu took a look at the deep-sea soul pearl. It was indeed not as round as other pearls. It was difficult to make a skewer, but it could be used as other jewelry. Lin Yu put away all the jewelry, looked at the boss and said with a smile, The processing fee for that pearl has been paid, let's go. Lin Yu said the second half of what he said to Lu Ning and Lu Yani. The owner of the jewelry store was overjoyed and immediately sent the 3 of them out and watched them drive away. Lu Ning was sitting in the passenger seat and asked in confusion, looking at the corners of the boss's mouth cracked to the base of his ears, he must be very happy. How much can we charge for the processing of these things? Lin Yu thought for a while and said, the processing fee is about more than 10 million. The material of the main chain is quite rare, so the cost is quite high. Relatively speaking, the pearl is more valuable, although the pearl does not look too round. But in their hands, they can definitely create exquisite jewelry based on their shapes and sell them for sky-high prices. The 3 of them returned to Building 19 of the Capital University. Lin Yu put away the car and accompanied them upstairs. When they returned to the 2-bedroom apartment on the 22nd floor, the luminous grass in each room lit up. The 2 of them felt pretty good. Lu Ning asked curiously, Hey, Lin Yu, I didn't notice during the day that the plants in the house are all noctiluca. I heard that this thing is extremely difficult to grow. How did you do it? Faced with Lu Ning's question, Lin Yu smiled slightly, Well, last time we went to the lemur forest, we dug it in the lemur king's cave. As for being able to feed them, of course I have the ability. Okay, Lin Yu, you sit down for a while, and I'll go back to the room and take a shower first. After Lu Ning finished speaking, she was about to go back to the room to take a shower. Lin Yu called her to stop, then took out a bracelet and handed it to her with a smile. Lu Ning, if you don't like the pearl necklace, you can wear this bracelet and play with it. Lu Ning felt happy when she heard Lin Yu say this, but she still had to pretend to be indifferent on the surface, since you said so. Of course I have to give you this face. Lu Ning took the bracelet and put it on his hand to play with. Lin Yu took out a necklace and a pair of earrings and pushed them to Lu Yani, who was aside. Lu Yani smiled and said, Lin Yu, isn't it a bit of a waste to give me such a precious thing? Aunt Lu has seen that the higher the soul power is, the younger and younger it will be. Look at the female soul saints of the Vatican who all look the same as 18, but in fact they have lived for how many years? Lu Yani was happy. Hee. Okay, thank you very much. I also hope to reach Soul Saint Bar one day. Lu Yani accepted the pair of accessories, and Lin Yu stood up and said goodbye. Okay. It's getting late now, I should go back, and I'll bring you breakfast tomorrow morning. Lu Yani waved her hand. No need in the morning, we don't know how long we will sleep until. Besides, we still have some food in our space. Lin Yu nodded. That's okay, then I'll leave first, and you guys should rest early. Lin Yu left. Lu Ning and Lu Yani said hello and went back to their room and closed the door. Lu Yani turned off the light in the living room, returned to her room, sat in front of the dressing table, ready to try on the pearl necklace, and had just taken off the jade necklace. A pair of hands picked up the pearl necklace and put it on her neck. Lu Yani looked at the person standing behind her in the mirror and asked with a smile, how is it? Does it look good? Beautiful, and complements my sister's appearance perfectly. Lu Yani said angrily, you are thick-skinned. Now you are a sister. Okay, I'm going to take a shower. Let's get together. Half an hour later, the two of them returned to bed. Lu Yani thought for a while and said, you said you want to keep your Yuanyang body to practice. Is there any way to lock the Yuanyang body so that the Yuanyang does not leak? Sister, what do you mean? Is it thunder but no rain? I think we can try it. An hour later, Lu Yani fell asleep in Lin Yu's arms. Lin Yu looked at Lu Yani in his arms. She had opened the door to a new world for him. There was nothing to say all night. When it was dark the next morning, Lin Yu accompanied Lu Yani for another morning exercise, got up and took a shower, and then returned home. I returned to my room and started practicing. At about 8 o'clock, I heard Chen Jing coming downstairs. When Chen Jing came over, the two of them arrived in the life space. Chen Jing went to pick eggs and vegetables, and Lin Yu unleashed the growth of all things on the flowers and plants. When he came to the cave and unleashed the growth of all things on the ghost mushrooms, he accidentally discovered that there were clusters of small ghost mushrooms growing under the canopy of the ghost mushrooms. I have kept them in a box for so long, but no spores have been produced. It has only been a short time since they arrived here, and small mushrooms have actually grown. It seems that the growth environment cannot be replaced by soul power. Lin Yu immediately divided them, otherwise they would be crowded together, which would affect their growth. When Chen Jing came over, she saw Lin Yu growing mushrooms again. Hey, Xiao Yu, there are a lot of mushrooms here. Yes, it should be grown after the mushroom spores are scattered. After doing all this, the two came to the windflower fruit again. Lin Yu once again gave birth to the windflower fruit. This kind of artificially planted windflower fruit spawned by soul power was bigger than a peach. The two people had 4 windflowers on the tree. After picking the fruits, they left here and went back outside, where the two of them prepared breakfast together. After breakfast, Lin Yu and Chen Jing said hello, and then left Shushan County and came to Capital Academy 2202. Lu Ning and Lu Yani hadn't gotten up yet, so Lin Yu came to the kitchen and took out some seafood and started processing it. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Lu Ning came out of the room wearing a set of home clothes. He saw Lin Yu processing ingredients in the kitchen, and walked over. Hey! Lin Yu, when did you come here? It's about 9 o'clock. Seeing that you are still sleeping, I don't have the nerve to wake you up. Lu Ning nodded. I rode in the car for 5 or 6 hours yesterday and then went shopping. I did feel a little tired. Now that I think about it, where is Lin Xiaotao? Lin Yu said with a smile. Lin Xiaotao is in building 7. Let her and her mother come over to have something to eat at noon. You won't mind, right? Lu Ning waved his hand. What do I mind? She is your real girlfriend. Lin Yu took out a shrimp from the pot, peeled off the shell and handed it to Lu Ning. Lu Ning tasted it and it tasted good. Just then Lu Yani also came out of the room. Lu Ning took a look at his mother and found that his mother was radiant today. Lin Yu took out 2 bowls of vegetable and egg noodles and placed them on the dining table. He added some seafood to each bowl and asked them to start eating. Lin Yu, why don't you eat something together? Aunt Lu, I ate this morning. You guys should eat quickly. After the 2 had breakfast, they cleared the table. Lin Yu called Lin Xiaotao and asked them to come over for dinner, and the 2 agreed. Soon after, the doorbell rang, and Lu Ning went to open the door. It was Lin Xiaotao and Yi Susan outside. Xiaodao, Aunt, how are you? Okay. The 2 came to the house. Lu Ningbian and Lin Xiaotao went back to the room. There were always a lot of whispers between the girls. Lin Yu washed a basket of windflower fruits and put it on the coffee table for Yi Susan and Lu Yani to try. Lu Yani picked up a windflower fruit and looked at it carefully. Lin Yu, what kind of fruit is this? It looks like a nectarine. I seem to have never seen it before. Windflower fruit, a kind of fruit in the secret realm, it tastes very good if you try it. The 2 of them each picked up the windflower fruit and tasted it. The taste was indeed very good, much better than ordinary fruits. At noon, Lin Yu was quite simple, with 4 dishes and 1 soup, but they were all large portions. Of course, he had asked them before and none of the 4 of them had any taboo dishes. Not to mention whether Lin Yu's meal was good or not, the 4 of them were also very respectable, and everyone ate a lot. After lunch, a few people cleaned up, and Yi Susan also planned to go back to rest for a while. After all, it was too hot at noon, even if they were naturally, the Soul Master is not willing to bask in the sun. Lin Xiaotao did not go back. She and Lu Ning stayed together to play. Lin Yu made an appointment to pick them up at 3 in the afternoon, and then went downstairs with Yi Susan. Yi Susan said with a smile, Lin Yu, why don't you go to our place to rest for a while? Lin Yu thought for a while. That's okay. Lin Yu and Yi Susan came to Building 7, room 2901. As soon as they lay down in the guest room here, Yi Susan walked in. You smell like Lu Yani all over your body. Wait, didn't you say you want to maintain your Yuanyang body? Well, I studied a way to make it thunder but not rain. You are studying this with Lu Yani, right? At 2:30, the 2 of them went to take a shower together, changed into a set of clean clothes and went out. Lin Yu drove the car downstairs at number 19 and called Lu Ning and the others. After a while, the 3 of them went downstairs and got into the car, and Lin Yu drove them off. Lin Xiaotao looked back at Yi Susan, and then asked curiously, Mom, did you take a shower and wash your hair at noon? Yi Susan looked at Lu Yani who was smiling but not smiling, and said a little helplessly, it was a bit hot when I went downstairs at noon and I was sweating, so I went back and took a shower. Lin Xiaotao nodded and didn't think much about it. Soon after, the car parked next to Quzhongqi Park. This is a relatively well-known park in the capital. After a few people strolled around, they went boating on the lake. In the evening, they went to taste the local specialties, and after dinner they went to the streets to spend 2 hours. Lin Yu sent them to the downstairs of their respective universities in the capital and then drove away. He didn't stay at the capital university tonight. Not long after, Lin Yu appeared in Tang Yanren's dormitory. He took a bath first, then lay down next to Tang Yanren and put her in his arms. You must have had a lot of fun with Lu Ning and the others these 2 days. It's not bad. Since they have arrived in the capital, I naturally have to accompany them. It's getting late, so go to bed early. Tang Yanren found a comfortable position in Lin Yu's arms and fell asleep. Soon after, Lin Yu heard her even breathing and fell asleep himself. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.